salvaged that series against the A's with a win last night. Day off today before a road trip begins tomorrow. It's also day one of the NFL draft. The Seahawks are on the board at pick 32 tonight. You can tune in from 4 to 9 p.m. on 710, the app, and our YouTube page for wall-to-wall coverage of the 2026 NFL draft. Dave Wyman, Brock Heward, Michael Bumpus will join Bob Stelton for complete coverage as the Seahawks look to build on their championship roster. More information at seattlesports.com.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
NFL insider for ESPN, Dan Graziano, joins us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Dan, my first question is not actually a Seahawks question. We're looking at pick 32 here, so we have a lot to get through. It's just a general question about a very busy weekend for you. What story are you most fascinated by when it comes to this draft entering the weekend?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. I mean, like, we could get micro and say, like, I can't believe we still don't know who the Jets are going to take it to. Right. And I'm fascinated to see how that works out. But I think, you know, I think who's the second quarterback? Ty Simpson, where does he go? Does he go tonight? What does that mean for whatever franchise takes him and the ones that don't? I think that's probably – it's really kind of a nitty-gritty kind of draft. Right? There's not like a lot of like high-level headline stuff going on.
Yeah.
I think it's partly because probably there's not a lot of quarterbacks expected to be taken early. But I think that's an interesting one because Ty Simpson came out of college and entered the draft this year, which was a surprise to some people. And he's going tonight. So curious to see how that works out for him.
Dan, what is the most fascinating nugget you have heard leading up to the draft about the Seahawks?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Stacey mentioned it's kind of a flex, right? Yeah, they're taking 32. That's always cool. I think it's about the trade down, right? The possibility of a trade down. We've seen this before, Brady, as you know. I mean, John Schneider going into a draft with 4 picks, like his skin must be crawling. So I think the idea is to really look at them as a candidate to be a trade down team and amass more picks as the draft goes along. Nobody has 32 first-round grades. So, like, if you're the Seahawks, you're using a first-round pick on a player, you probably have a second or third-round grade on at that point. So go ahead and get more picks, move back, and build out your team the way you like to. So is that the spot where Arizona comes up for, Ty Simpson? Or is that's always a prime spot, that 32, because a team will try and get back into the first round to secure the 5th-year option on the rookie contract, a la Baltimore and Lamar Jackson in 2018. So, I think, if they aren't able to trade it, I'm fascinated to see if that's where, the second Notre Dame running back goes, because obviously there's a need. And while they haven't really drafted them in the first, well, they did draft Rashad Penny, I guess, in the first round. Like Schneider hasn't been shy about taking running backs relatively early. Obviously, the 2 second-round picks on Ken Walker and Charbonnet.
Based on what you know and have heard about Jadarian and just this draft class in general for running backs, would that be an overdraft for Seattle, or does it also make sense for their needs considering they lost Ken Walker? Yeah, I mean,
it's, first-round running back is generally not something I support, but at 32, the financial impact is not nearly as significant as if you take one in the top 5 or top 10. So, and we saw, I mean, off the top of my head, Walker was in the 40s, right? Pick 42, 46, something like that. So it's really not that far out of line with what they've done. I think if you get to that point and there's no trade and he's the highest guy left on your board, and yes, he would fill a need. And, scouts I talked to rave about him as a runner. He's not the complete player that Jeremiah Love is in terms of pass catcher and all those other things. But as a runner, I think, he's rated maybe equivalent or maybe better. So he would be somebody that could help them. I mean, if you're Seattle right now, you're thinking about how do we win this thing again? So getting somebody who can help right away, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I think that conversation is different for some teams, like the teams that want to run the ball and they want to build their offense around a running game. It's a lot more justifiable, especially if you're talking about a late first-round pick or even if you trade back a few spots, into the early second round. But let's talk about the trade back possibility. a lot of people have connected Arizona to Ty Simpson. We heard John Schneider tell us the other day that he would not be opposed to, trading that pick with a division rival. I even asked him, okay, well, what if you knew that division rival was going to take a quarterback? And he said, yeah. So I'll ask you this, Dan. Do you think there's any way, if we get through round one and Ty Simpson is still there, do you think there's any way he gets by either the Jets at 33 or Arizona at 34?
Everything I've been hearing on Arizona the last couple of days indicates that they do want to try and get him. So, no, I would think if he's still there at 34, Arizona probably picks him. I don't know if the Jets like him well enough to take him at 33. I think they like him, but the question is, is it enough? Like, do they want to use that pick on it, or is there a better way to use that pick? I think 34 is the floor, and I would not be surprised at all to see Arizona trade up into the round to get him.
Now, even if Arizona gets Ty, I don't know that it drastically changes my expectation for their season or certainly for their 2 games against the Seahawks. The Rams, however, very different story. I think that most people are looking at this division as a battle between those 2 teams. And unfortunately for Seattle, the Rams still have a relatively early first-round pick. Dan, are you hearing anything about what they might do there?
Yeah, that's an interesting team, wild card team, right? Because, I'm sorry, this guy's really loud here. A wild card team because they don't really have like a crying need. Like if the Rams used their first round pick on like Ty Simpson to secure like a quarterback of the future for when Matthew Stafford's done, like that would seem weird because like you're trying to win this year's Super Bowl. Why don't you get somebody who can help now? But also like who is that at that point? So I think I could see the Rams trading back and doing something like that. I could see the Rams try to trade up and secure the impact guy. Maybe they're the candidate to make a big move right up into the top 5 or 6 and get one of the superstar talents in this draft. So I think with the Rams sitting there at a pick that's better than they should have, I think that and with very few obvious needs on their roster, I think they are a fascinating team to watch tonight because of the number of different possibilities that are present with that pick. They haven't had a pick. They haven't made a pick this high since 2016 when they traded up to take Jared Goff at number 1. So we really don't have like a book on them and how they handle this kind of pick. So I think they are absolutely a potential pivot point tonight and a team to watch. And I'm sure the Seahawks fans, that is, as you say, probably the one team that makes us sweat a little bit.
Dan, one of the beats that I've been drumming is that the Seahawks, for as much as we know that they are going to want to trade back, there's a good chance they may have to stay and pick there. And I think we've seen that history play out. Like they have not traded back in the first round since 2019. And it's not because they haven't tried. It's just because the right deal hasn't been there. And from the sounds of it, from hearing people like you and other insiders talk about it, there could be quite a few teams in the late first round looking to trade back. And I'm wondering what you think that market could look like. Because as I see it, just from, and I'm not talking to other teams like I'm sure you are, it sounds like they could have competition, and the teams that want to trade up might be in the power position, so to speak. Do you see it that way potentially?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of teams because of what we were just talking about, right? Like if you talk to teams and ask, how many first-round grades do you have on guys this year? You never hear the number 32. And this year you hear in numbers in like the low teens. So at that point, if you're the Eagles or the Bills or the Seahawks or I guess the Dolphins have the Broncos pick, right? Or the Patriots, you're taking a second or third round guy on your board and you're giving him first-round money. So the temptation is to trade down. And, it's easier said than done because everybody wants to. I do feel like we tend to see a lot of trades in that zone because people are sitting there in the early part of the second round saying, all right, I can make a trade up to get a guy I like rather than wait and hope he's here tomorrow night. So I do think you end up having more customers when you get to that part of the round. And I think they'll probably be able to do something even if it's small. You mentioned 2019. That was an incredible year for Schneider because – I think a couple days before the draft, they only had 4 picks, and then I think they traded Frank Clark for one, and then I think they ended up picking like 10 or 11 guys, like out of 4 picks. So that was the time I remember watching that and thinking this guy really knows how to do this. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a similar kind of thing happen this year.
Yeah, getting DK in that class too, which was massive, obviously. I know we've talked a lot about trading back from 32. In terms of trades in general, you think we could see quite a few tonight?
I think there could be some. I was curious because they shortened the time between picks from 10 minutes to 8, and I wondered if that would make it harder to make trades. But most of the GMs I've talked to aren't worried about that. That most of these pick-for-pick trades get done in the first minute. So I think I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think there could be some, but, Arizona would trade out of number 3 if they can. The question is who's willing to come up and how much they're willing to pay. Cleveland at 6 is a trade down candidate. I think the thing to watch is, how badly do you want to trade down? And is it badly enough to take a little bit of a sub-market offer, like a little bit less than you feel like you should be getting for the 3 pick or the 6 pick or the 4 pick or whatever, just for the purpose of getting picks later in a draft that doesn't seem to have a ton of, high-level, gotta-have-it sort of guys.
Hey, Dan, I'm curious just about what this time of the year, and really especially these last couple of days, what have they been like for you? Because I know what they're like for me, but me as a beat writer, I have a very different job than you. What have you been up to the last couple of days? What kind of conversations are you having? How much do you feel like you can trust what you hear this time of the year versus what is smoke?
It is amazing to have conversations where you know for a fact people are lying to you, and you're just trying to figure out, which part is the lie and which part is the to me, it's volume, right? You get as much information as you can, and you put it all together, and you say, well, this came from this person, and this came from this person, and they're pretty good in terms of their record with me, and they agree, so maybe that's something I can feel good about saying. But, man, it is I love tonight because that's when everybody stops lying. Now you can send the text and say, what'd you like about this guy? How's he fit? And you get a real answer. So, it's a weird time of year. Obviously, teams, agents, et cetera, they're trying to some extent use us, right? Let's get something out there that might help me. I think as a reporter, you kind of get used to sort of that game and when it is okay and when it's not to make that kind of trade-off. But, for the most part, I'm trying to put out stuff I feel confident in. And that's hard to come by this time of year. There's no question about it.
Have you ever been absolutely stunned by what a team has done where you're like, there's no way anyone had a clue they were going to do this?
Oh, gosh. I mean, last year, Jacksonville going up to 2 to get Travis Hunter. I think we all had Hunter penciled into Cleveland and how's Cleveland going to use him and all this kind of stuff. And then Jacksonville takes a big swing. I think absolutely. Michael Penix to the Falcons 2 years ago at 8 was a shocker. That's the beauty of tonight is there's definitely going to be something that happens that literally no one had any idea of, and it's going to blow up all the mock drafts. That's what makes tonight so much fun.
I am wondering, John Schneider made it clear, as you know, as Brady knows, that he wants to trade back. We know that he may not have a trade partner. I'm also wondering if there's going to be a possibility where someone falls to him that he just wasn't expecting. Now, unfortunately for him, it's not going to be Jeremiah Love. But is there anyone who may slip a little bit to the bottom half of the first round that you think this could be pretty intriguing for some teams in the late 20s and 30s?
I mean, Jermod McCoy, the Tennessee corner, is a guy that talent-wise everybody loves, but he's got a knee injury. How far is he going to fall? And is Seattle the kind of team that could take a risk like that at that pick? That's probably the kind of thing you're talking about. Somebody that drops that should have gone higher, but there's maybe a concern that pushed him down the board a bit. I think that's the first name that jumped to mind because what we're hearing on McCoy is that a lot of teams are scared off and he could have a little bit of a tumble. And if you like your roster and you feel like you're strong enough to take on that kind of risk, and maybe if the guy turns out healthy, we got something special. I could see that being the Super Bowl champions being the kind of team to take a swing like that.
And then last one for me, again, nothing to do with the Seahawks. I joked about Jeremiah Love certainly not falling to the bottom of the draft. I am wondering, though, if it's possible that he goes even at 3. I didn't know if the Cardinals were going to take him, if they'd trade out of that spot. That's also so massively high for a running back. What are some of the implications of a running back going there? And do you think it's no offense to Jeremiah, do you think it's a bad selection there?
I do. The rookie contract is the same no matter the position. So the third pick's going to get a 4-year, $52.5 million contract, fully guaranteed, whether he's a running back, a quarterback, a kicker, whoever. So at that point, you're now paying a rookie who's never played in the NFL $13.1 million a year. That would make him the 7th highest paid running back in the league at the moment. And so the reason I say it's a bad pick is because I think the point of the draft is to find guys that will outperform their rookie contracts for the first 3-4 years, while you then use your salary cap to spend up at other places. If you do that at running back, your best case scenario is the guy plays up to his rookie contract as opposed to beyond it, and you've not extracted any value. You take a pass rusher at 3, he's going to be about the 35th highest paid edge rusher in the league, and that's something that if he plays the way you think he can, you're going to benefit from that all 4 years of his rookie deal.
He is NFL insider for ESPN, Dan Graziano. Dan, you have a very busy day and a very busy weekend. Not lost on us that it was very gracious to take some time out to chat. So thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Have a good one. Tune in tonight from 4 to 9 p.m. on 710, the app, and our YouTube page for wall-to-wall coverage of the 2026 NFL Draft. Dave Wyman, Brock Heward, and Michael Bumpus will join Bob Stelton for complete coverage as the Seahawks look to build on their championship roster. Find complete details of draft coverage at seattlesports.com. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Brady Henderson in with us today, and you're taking a few of these questions. First down, what player's potential draft slide could benefit the Seahawks?
Well, I don't know if it would be a slide necessarily because he's not projected to go in the 20s or whatever, but Ty Simpson. I think if the longer Ty Simpson stays on the board, I think the better for the Seahawks because that brings into play somebody, a quarterback needy team like the Jets or Arizona trading up to get him. And we know we didn't need John Schneider to tell us, but he did confirm that, they want to move back. So I think in some ways they're not in a great position picking at 32 behind maybe a handful of other teams that may want to also trade back. But I think what's good about that spot for them is that you have 2 quarterback needy teams right behind them. And, maybe those 2 teams try to jump up to beat the other guy. And it is, Dan told us that 5th-year option is also a big deal, especially for quarterbacks. So, again, not a player who's like projected to go in the 20s necessarily, but, if Seahawks would not mind him being available at pick 32, knowing they're not going to take him, but knowing that teams behind them might want him.
Yeah, second down. All right, well, let's talk about what Seattle needs. What are the top 3 positions of need for this team entering the weekend?
Well, running back is the biggest need, and I think 2 things are true. They can be excited about the guys that they have, and they can be higher on those guys than a lot of people are, and they've said that, and I believe them. So that's true. What's also true is they need more there, and I don't think they have denied that. I don't think they would deny that. They need help at running back, and I think specifically, ideally, they need a guy who can replace some of Ken Walker's home run hitting ability. So is Jadarian Price that? He didn't have a super great 40 time, but there were quite a few explosive runs. If you just watch him, he looks plenty explosive to my untrained eye, at least. And so I would say running back, and we'll get more into the Jadarian Price if we want to. We've already, covered that quite a bit. But I would say running back. And then in like some order, I would say cornerback, edge, and maybe guard. But I don't think any of those are anywhere near the need that
So pretty notable
is.
Gap there.
Yeah, I would say so.
Would you assume that is there a world where they leave the draft without adding one, even if it's not Price?
Yeah, and, look, we've seen them take a look at Dante Fowler. They brought Dante Fowler in for a visit. And, again, that strikes me as, okay, they're looking for an edge guy. And if they don't come away with, from the draft with one of those guys, then he is a veteran fullback. I tell you this, last summer, they thought they were very close to signing Von Miller. And he instead chose the Washington Commanders. But they thought that they were going to sign Von Miller, who's a veteran speed guy. He is still unsigned. I tend to think that the fact that he's an older guy who's not going to help out on special teams, I think that might work against it. But the point is, there are still veterans out there to where, if they don't come away from this draft with one of those players at a position of need, I would say you don't need to freak out necessarily because there's still veteran
Don't panic.
Yeah. And guys who could become available after June 1, too.
Third down. How would you grade the offseason so far?
I'll give it, I don't know, I'll say like B+. It's hard to say A when, if they did lose a decent amount of talent. I wouldn't say they got decimated. That's a word that some people throw. I don't think they got decimated, but I would look at it based on not necessarily like the the totality of what they lost, I would look at it as the decisions they made that got them there. And I don't think there's a player that they lost in free agency to where, like, I would have said, yeah, you should have paid the money that you should have gave that guy the contract that he got elsewhere. I mean, Rick Woolen, we've talked about that. They were never going to re-sign him, so he's in a totally different situation. But, should they have paid Ken Walker III, what was it, $14 million? I don't think I can make that argument that they should have. So I think that's totally justifiable. And the same thing with Kobe Bryant, who got, I think around the similar average per year. Kobe Bryant's a really good player. That's also a position that you can find and that you can replace that guy. And you got starter level play out of an undrafted guy in Tai Okada. You got Bryant himself in the 4th round as a converted cornerback. That's a position I don't think you necessarily need to spend $14 million a year on. Did they overpay a little bit, at least in terms of what I think they probably would have preferred to pay Rashid Shaheed? Yes. But, you also got some guys cheaper than maybe you thought it would have cost to re-sign. So, and that goes back to the whole disciplined, start to this offseason. So they've lost a good amount of talent that they still need to replace. But I don't think any of the guys that they lost were necessarily mistakes based on the contracts that they got.
4th down. All right, let's step away from the draft. You talked about this a little bit with Fowler, but have we ruled out additional free agent moves, trades? Like, how might the team still reshape their roster a bit after the draft?
Yeah, there's still guys available. And as I mentioned, there will be more guys potentially after June 1, where sometimes you see teams cut guys, for cap purposes. They wait until that point. But, everything goes back to Jadarian Price, it seems like. I think this is going to be a test of something that we've heard John Schneider say. And he was on with Bob and Dave, I think it was a couple weeks ago, and they asked him about the running back situation with the Seahawks. And he, in not in so many words, but he basically conveyed this thought that, hey, everybody relax. Like, they know that they need work there, but they also know that, and I think John Schneider's exact phrasing was, it's a position that you can find. Meaning, there's usually not a shortage of available running backs. And seen, I think, in this system, and we assume that Brian Fleury is going to run a pretty similar system to what Clint Kubiak ran, like his version of the Kyle Shanahan system. We've seen over the years, you can tend to plug in running backs that don't necessarily have to be highly paid guys or high draft picks, and they can give you passable play there, more than passable play there. So I think, if they draft Jadarian Price, or if they pass on him, I should say, I think that is reflective of that thought that you don't really need to reach to take a guy. You don't need to overpay to keep a guy in the case of Ken Walker III, because that is a position you can find. I think that they would also tell you that in most drafts, it's easier to find because there's usually more than, 2 running backs that are going to go in the first 3 rounds. Yeah.
You're listening to Bump and Stacey. Curtis Rogers in for Bump today. Coming up, Curtis and I continue to get you ready for night 1 of the NFL Draft.
You can stream every pitch of every inning of every game all season long. Oh, and it's completely free.
It's a tremendous catch.
Only on the Seattle Sports app. That's right. The free Seattle Sports app puts every single Mariners game right in the palm of your hand.
On a platter, come and get it.
One app, every game. Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcast.
Holy smokes, what a play!
Pretty awesome, right? Just like the Mariners.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. And if you've been dreaming of that new deck, you got to get a hold of PCF. Call them before the great weather arrives and their schedule gets totally filled up. With a new deck, patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy the outdoors year-round no matter what the weather brings. And for a limited time, how about this? Get 50% off demolition costs up to $5,000 when you book your project with PCF. Contact People Come First Construction Group for all the details. They designed and built our outdoor living space, and we love it. Start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build this summer. Planning, permitting, and construction can take a little time, so get started today. Get project ideas, browse their amazing photos, and look at all the offer details at pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space your favorite place with People Come First.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through Sunday, May 3rd. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Meet the company electrifying the marine industry. ARC, a fully electric boat that feels like a luxury EV. Significantly less maintenance and service, ARC is built to be as easy to operate as it is to maintain. Featuring heated seats and seat backs, a large display, easy handling, and impressive kick. You have to see it and experience ARC for yourself. Book a demo. They'll pick you up on Lake Washington, Lake Union, or Lake Sammamish if you can't come to them in Kirkland. Go to arcboats.com/demo. ARC. You have to see it to believe it.
Hello, my friends. It's the Graz here, encouraging you to golf local. Our region is blessed with a ton of golf that isn't very expensive and can accommodate all types of skill levels. Check out the premier courses at Bellevue, Bill Wright, Cedar Crest, Interbay, Jackson Park, Lake Patton, Legion Memorial, Linwood, or Walter Hall. You know, wherever you are in Western Washington, you're not far from a premier course. Why not book a tee time online or play Top Tracer at the range at Interbay, Bill Wright, and Jackson Park? So what are you waiting for? Play the courses. Play Premier.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Listen every day to the Bump and Stacy Show for headline rewrites. Powered by Bay Alarm Security Services. Security systems and fire alarms for every business. Bay Alarm, we got you.
What is it, boy? Someone need help? Someone in trouble? Oh, okay. So you just want me to get Progressive Auto Insurance because their collision coverage covers up to $1,000 in vet bills if you're injured in an accident? That's it? Okay. Calm down. Let's not resort to name calling.
Progressive's collision coverage helps pay for care for your pet when they're in the car during an accident.
No, you're right. Sorry. I shouldn't have said calm down.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage included with purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
That sound? Yeah, that's not a good sign. Hey, it's Drew Brees. And when your car starts making noises like that, a big repair bill might be coming right at you. But with CarShield, you don't have to fear unexpected breakdowns. CarShield helps protect you from expensive auto repairs. I spent my career making tough calls, but this one is simple.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
You're 62 or older, lots of equity in your home, and you want to pull some cash out, but a refinance or HELOC, well, it means a bigger payment. And the cost of selling your home, it's insane. So what should you do? Hey, Brock Ewart here for Tila Mortgage. You don't need to live at a lower standard than you deserve. You really got three options. Number one, sell your home. 2, get a HELOC or refinance. Or 3, get a reverse mortgage. Tila has done the analysis and believes that a reverse mortgage is the most cost-effective way for seniors to get cash out of their homes without selling and having the option of no monthly mortgage payment. Too good to be true? No. Call today and let's compare. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Give them a call today. 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
TILA mortgage.com.
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. TILO Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Brady is heading over to Virginia Mason Athletic Center to get ready for round 1, night 1 of the NFL
I-90
draft.
if you see him.
Yeah, if you see Brady, say hi.
Let him through.
Yeah, let him through. He's got places to
yeah.
be. He's got picks to cover. Draft set to kick off at 5 p.m. Seahawks are going to be on the clock with pick 32. That means you are waiting through the entire first round. A good place to be. Get comfortable. Fascinating to see all of this. Can I confide something in you for like 10 seconds that's non-draft related?
Okay.
I have the daycare cam to Lukey's daycare.
What kind of daycare is
It's
this?
the doggy daycare.
Doggy daycare.
My son is there, and I have the cam up, and I spend a little too much time watching it, and I find that my motive when watching it is to make sure that he's popular.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know how to gauge that.
That doesn't surprise me.
I don't know how to gauge that with
Knowing
dogs, but it's just something that while we're in a safe
yeah.
space, I just wanted to be able to admit that I do watch him on the doggy daycare cam to make sure that he's making friends. Because I'm like, I don't want him to just be there without any friends.
As someone whose children are in actual daycare right now.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, you know.
Lukey's in actual daycare. They get snacks.
For dogs.
They get snacks
yeah.
and there's a nap time.
I mean, you can kind of let dogs do whatever they want.
Yeah. He just pooped on the floor. But...
Well, Willa yesterday got a great compliment from one of her preschool teachers.
Oh, yeah?
She's a peer leader, so.
That's a good compliment.
Just saying. You know, what kind of compliments does Lukey get? Is he a peer leader?
They
watching
say
watching that video, I would say he's more of a follower.
He is a follower. A lot of people say he's pretty. They call him handsome and pretty a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's like he's an athlete. So I think that they're just kind of blown away by like, wow, that's really nice striations.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Like his vascularity.
Yeah, he's a former athlete.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to talk about typically on Fridays we do like what's sticking with us this week. We will be doing that tomorrow, but I wanted to do a version of that for the draft in terms of after tonight, round 1 is over. And so I wanted to talk about kind of what are experts saying the Seahawks should do either with pick 32 in the first round before we actually find out what they do. So Benjamin Solak, ESPN NFL analyst, was on with us and said he thinks the Seahawks will trade back, but if they don't, does like one specific cornerback.
John Schneider said, listen, we're trying to trade back. We don't have that many picks in this draft. He even opened the door for we are willing to trade in division, which means that if the Cardinals are there at 34 and they want to trade up for Ty Simpson and go get that fifth-year option, the Seahawks are like, yeah, we'd set you guys up, which means they don't fear the Cardinals at all. It's actually very disrespectful to imply that. Anyway, I'm going to have them staying here and making a pick. I think more likely than not they trade back on the day of. But I do love Colton Hood, the corner out of Tennessee, fitting in with the Seahawks. You want to have a more press cover corner there than you currently do have with the Seattle Seahawks. You lose Tariq Woolen in free agency. Josh Jobe, I think, can press, but you want to have a little bit more of a physical toolkit on the outside, and that's Colton Hood.
I think the reason we keep hearing Chris Johnson out of San Diego State mocked to Seattle at 32 is because Colton Hood has been climbing a little bit on the boards. I've seen him going kind of mid-round in the 20s. I've seen him as late as maybe 30. And while some earlier mocks had him later and had him and Avion Terrell commonly mocked to Seattle, that's kind of fading, either because Chris Johnson and, at running back Jadarian Price is gaining steam, or because Colton Hood is just now being mocked a little sooner than 32.
Right. And it does kind of feel like there's going to be a run on corners kind of around where the Seahawks are picking at 32. And maybe based off of how quickly some of those names come off the board, you mentioned Avion Terrell, Chris Johnson's going to be around there, Colton Hood's going to be around there. Based off how quickly those names move, do the Seahawks kind of look at that and say, like we were kind of hoping maybe one of those guys would fall to us if we move back, and then also hopefully Jadarian Price is there in the second round somewhere that we can still get him wherever it is that we want in the second round. But yeah, I think personally, I think the Seahawks' two biggest needs are running back and defensive back. And if you can somehow, some way manage to address both those needs with your first two picks in this draft, wherever it is that you find, that to me would get the Seahawks an A grade. I think you just have to be able to come away from this weekend with those two needs met, and if you can do that, then I'm going to be quite all right with what it is that they come away with.
I think Daniel Jeremiah, who was on with Brock and Salk, agrees with you that defensive back and running back are the two biggest needs for this team. Though when asked, okay, well, let's say both are available. Let's say that Chris Johnson and Jadarian Price are both there at 32. Who do you take?
I would take Price, and I like Johnson a lot, but I would take Price because they're very similarly graded. I have them stacked very close on my list, and one is an obvious position of need, and we're in our window right now. And it's funny you said it. Price is my 34th player. Chris Johnson is my 35th player. So I have them right next to each other, and I just think Price has more of an impact on us trying to get back and win the Super Bowl. So that's where I would go.
Daniel Jeremiah is higher on Jadarian Price than are some others. Again, Dane Brugler's mock has him going at 59 to the Texans. I've seen him in the 40s. I think Bucky Brooks had him a little later also. So keep in mind that Daniel Jeremiah is just higher on Jadarian in general. Yeah. But saying, hey, this is the overlap. This is the hypothetical overlap we always talk about. What if best player available and need cross? When do you prioritize one over the other?
Yeah, I think when your need is as big and as glaring as the Seahawks have, I think that's when it could potentially supersede best player available. Not to say that, taking Jadarian Price means that you're not getting a really good player. I think you are getting a really good player in him. Potentially, a player that could get over 1,000 yards in the right situation. I think Seattle is a really good situation for him, especially at the time when Zach Charbonnet comes back. Like, he'll have somebody there to kind of help out with the workload. It is a big responsibility to give a rookie running back starting carries day one, but who else are you going to get in this draft that is going to be of that caliber right away?
A chance to impact.
Exactly. Like I think right now the Seahawks are in a spot where what helps you get back to Super Bowl more? Like, as Daniel Jeremiah pointed out, like, does getting another DB to add to the pile, does that help you get back to the Super Bowl more than it would getting a starting running back? My lean right now is probably no. I don't think drafting another depth position would help you get back there than addressing a big need. I think running back, especially like how often last year the Seahawks made a point to say, like, we want to run the ball.
Right, which is often.
Yeah, and how important the run game was in the playoffs. You had Ken Walker over 300 yards, and Zach Charbonnet is going to miss a significant portion of this season, probably not back until at least the middle portion of the year, maybe even later than that, who knows. But if the run game truly is as important as they say it is, you're going to have to come away with somebody very talented in that draft. And Jeremiah Love just is not in play for the Seahawks, so might as well get the second best thing.
Okay, so Curtis is leaning. Jadarian just thinks that running back is too pronounced a need for this team. Oh, and also he's talented. It's not like he's mocked in the third round and you're taking him that much higher. If you are someone who likes the DB, maybe in particular Chris Johnson, Mike Mayock is with you. This is what he told Brock and Salk.
I'll tell you a kid I like who might be there is Johnson from San Diego State, the corner. Clean, really good player. I mean, so again, it's not just looking at a running back in space, it's finite, just what in a vacuum. It's comparing him to everybody else and making a decision based on that.
Derek Klassen also loved him.
Yeah, Johnson is, if they're going for a corner who I think, he's got decent size. I don't think he's huge. He's like kind of around that 6 foot range, just under 200. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted somebody who was a little bit thicker, maybe like a Colton Hood. He to me has been my favorite corner if he falls to 32 for them. I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen, but I think he's probably my favorite. But Johnson, I think, is more of like, if they're going to be a defense that is playing a lot of these zone coverages and they're trying to change things up on the quarterback and they're allowing their corners to kind of play the cornerback's eyes and trigger, that's what Chris Johnson is really good at.
And they are that defense. So that seems like a fit for sure. Okay, so there's some common names that we're hearing. Jadarian Price, commonly mocked. Chris Johnson, commonly mocked. Colton Hood, commonly mocked. That was until he started climbing in the boards a little bit. May not be available. I've seen, by the way, both Johnson and Hood going around 30. Hood, I've seen, Johnson, I've seen a little bit later in other mocks. But there's this fascinating world where several of the names we've talked about are there at 32.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks not only have a tough decision to make about whether they take one of them, but should they want to trade back, about whether or not they even find a trade partner.
Right. But I think with so many of those guys potentially being available at 32, that makes me more comfortable with the idea of them trading down, just because if they're going to be there at 32, most of them will still probably be there at 35, 36, 37. I think 39, once you get past that, there's not a whole lot of incentive for the Seahawks to kind of trade down. So if you don't get one of the top 10 picks of the second round, then it might not be worth trading down at that point. But, I think because of just how much is kind of unknown about this draft and guys who don't have a first-round grade, you're still going to get somebody that could potentially have gone at 32 in one of those early picks in the second round.
We have two final questions to answer, Curtis, as we get people ready for Seattle Sports pre-draft draft show, which is coming up from 4 to 9. What do we think the Seahawks will do based on everything we've learned and heard about and from this team? And what do we think they should do? That's coming up next.
After reaching the NFL's mountaintop,
the Seahawks win Super Bowl 60.
The work continues for the Seahawks to keep the foundation strong. It's the 2026 NFL Draft. This afternoon, only Seattle Sports begins its first-round draft coverage with a reigning NFL Executive of the Year.
Who are the real Seahawks?
The John Schneider Show at 4 p.m. with Brock Huard, Michael Bumpus, Steve Wyman, and host Bob Stelton live until 9 p.m.
Powered by Home Comfort Alliance.
On Seattle Sports.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafee, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. Improve your play with 25% off windows and doors or 12 months, no payments, and no interest. And we're giving back with 2 $5,000 scholarships for our local youth sports teams. Upgrade your home at PellaPNW.com.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Spring is here, Seattle, and now is the smartest time to replace your roof. Trust your neighbors at 3 Tree Roofing, a local, family-owned company that knows how to roof in Washington weather year-round. Schedule your free estimate today at 3treeroofing.com to take advantage of spring pricing, shorter wait times, and get $500 off your new roof before the summer rush hits. Our experts come to you, build a clear plan, and give you an estimate that same day. No surprises and no high-pressure sales tactics. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Hello, my friends. It's the Graz here, encouraging you to golf local. Our region is blessed with a ton of golf that isn't very expensive and can accommodate all types of skill levels. Check out the premier courses at Bellevue, Bill Wright, Cedar Crest, Inter Bay, Jackson Park, Lake Padden, Legion Memorial, Linwood, or Walter Hall. You know, wherever you are in Western Washington, you're not far from a premier course. Why not book a tee time online or play Top Tracer at the range at Inter Bay, Bill Wright, and Jackson Park? So what are you waiting for? Play the courses. Play Premier.
Are you looking for a job or perhaps a better job? We're hiring at Pacific Power Batteries with formal training about batteries of all types, customer service, and safety in the workplace. If you're tired of some crappy job where you are now, visit PacificPowerBatteries.com. After 90 days, you'll be eligible for a paid health insurance premium, a health savings account, our bonus program, paid vacation, and more. Or stop in and talk with a store manager at Pacific Power Batteries, where good people sell reliable batteries. Come on by.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns. the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Mariners and Cardinals tomorrow in St. Louis. First pitch at 5:15, pregame at 4. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
It's funny how you get used to things in not so ideal condition around the house. It's Dave Wyman here, and for me, it was old windows. After 20 years in our home, virtually every window had a broken seal. We got used to cold drafts, outside noises, and condensation. And if you're in the same boat, use this spring to say goodbye to the old, dreary windows and hello to your new exclusive windows from Harley Exteriors. Right now, they're having a spring cleaning sale to complete your home makeover. If you buy 10 windows, you can choose between 20% off your entire project or get a free door. On top of that, make 0 payments and accumulate 0 interest for up to 12 months for qualified buyers. Harley Exteriors windows are a massive upgrade, manufactured right here in the Pacific Northwest and exclusive to Harley Exteriors. Call 833-HARLEY, that's HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com. Schedule your free consultation today at harleyexteriors.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Curtis Rogers in for Michael Bumpus, and we are not normally in the 2 p.m. hour. However, some scheduling changes for the NFL draft because Wyman and Bob and I almost said and Stelton, because Wyman and Bob and Bump and Brock are on with you guys for a bajillion hours for a live wall-to-wall draft coverage. We're going to help them out. And they get a little bit of a later start here.
I think they're going to hand it directly to Brock and Salk tomorrow morning.
That's probably, I think they're going to be at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You'll tune in and they'll be like, the thing you got to say about what the Raiders are trying to do here.
I've always said about Central Florida's defensive system is
exactly.
Like none of us have watched UCF Knights football.
No, I'm looking forward to tuning in. I know that the Seahawks aren't picking until 32, but it's always really fun draft coverage. These guys are huge college football fans. They all know their stuff. They have fun together, so it'll be a fun show. So you'll still have Wyman and Bob from 3 to 4. That includes the Raleigh Show, some Mariners updates, and then, of course, from 4 to 9, it's wall-to-wall draft coverage. And for right now, it's Curtis Rogers, it's me, and it's Matt, and we're going to talk about some
draft
final
expert
thoughts.
Matt Nelson.
Yeah, some final thoughts and predictions. I was gonna kind of frame it as, just because I always love kind of like a fun twist, kind of like what you think they'll do after weeks and weeks of guessing, and what they should do. So what do you think they'll do?
What I think they'll do is I think they will take a defensive back with their first pick. Now, that goes against like everything that I've said, because I've been on the Jadarian Price train for a while now. But I think they go defensive back because Mike McDonald loves himself some DBs, and especially ones that he can get. Yeah, I think especially ones that he can get at the kind of the front of the draft. I think that would be probably his ideal scenario. What I think they should do is I still think they should trade back into the second round, but wherever it is they're picking with their first pick in the second round, I think that might be where they should strike with Jadarian Price. That would be my personal draft strategy, but I don't think the Seahawks are going to follow what I do.
Well, you've been pretty unwavering. It's a great opinion, though, and it's one that even if John Schneider doesn't end up doing it, because my gut tells me they've got a few defensive players above Price on their board.
I think so, too, yeah.
Which, like, a commonly shared sentiment. Whether they should just ignore that and get Price because he is, by all accounts, great character, hard worker, and addresses an area of need. Maybe that sells them. But you've been pretty unwavering in that decision to go with Price. You are not a diehard Notre Dame fan. I think it's because you've got some real concerns about this running back room, though.
I do, yeah. Emmanuel Wilson, like he's a backup running back. He's not somebody that has ever been asked to really be the starter. He's made a couple of starts here and there just filling in for an injured running back in Green Bay, but that's not somebody who I'm going to trust to carry it 15, 20 times in Zach Charbonnet's absence. George Holani, still pretty unproven, played some special teams last year, played in a fill-in role in the postseason, but wasn't asked to do a lot because they just asked Ken Walker to be the full-time running back, just say, all right, you're going to run it 20 to 25 times now. We don't have time for a timeshare at the running back spot. And then you've got Kenny McIntosh, who's still banged up. So there's a lot. Cartier Wright is there. It's just not a strong enough running back room, personally, that I would feel comfortable going into training camp with. And we don't know when Zach Charbonnet's coming back, so that's why running back has been such an important need for me.
Someone said, since we're basically the Chiefs at this point, since we win Super Bowls, of course.
Right.
Of course. What have the Chiefs done when they got the 32 overall pick?
Well, they took Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 32 one of those years.
And it did not work out.
No, it did not.
Maybe a lesson there about overdrafting running backs when you need one. They also, I can't remember when this was. When did they trade up with the Bills? Or when did the Bills trade back and the Chiefs took Xavier Worthy? When was that?
That would have been 2024. They took Xavier Worthy at pick 28.
Okay.
Last year at pick 32, because the Chiefs traded down with the Eagles. The Eagles moved up to 31 and took Jihad Campbell. At 25, they took Josh Simmons, an offensive lineman. In 2023, they took a guy named Felix Anudike Uzoma, who has not really done anything as an edge rusher. 3 sacks in 2 seasons with Kansas City. They took George Karlaftis at pick 30 in 2022.
He ended up being a really important part of that Super Bowl winning defense.
And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire at pick 32 in 2020.
Which didn't work
they also got a second first-round pick in one of those seasons in 2022. In the Tyreek Hill trade, they drafted Trent McDuffie, so he turned out to be pretty well.
Pretty nicely, and they turned that into another pick.
Yeah. And they've got 2 picks tonight.
Yeah. I think that they're going to trade back, and I think they should trade back.
Who are they taking, then?
At the risk of sounding repetitive, I'm with you. I think that I actually think you, me, and Bump are all in the place of, look, I know they got to a Super Bowl by drafting the best available player, period.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of need, regardless of having some unanswered questions, just get the best and hungriest athlete on the field. Get ball players.
A dog. A JYD.
Just get a dog. And that's worked for them. Like, that's the way to do it. Like, John has been right in that approach, fundamentally. Far be it from me to tell a team that just won a Super Bowl to get away from the thing that got them there, but I am so nervous about this room. What I want is Jadarian Price at pick 50. I just don't think it's going to end up happening. We will see. We'll see what ends up happening. So as a reminder, The Raleigh Show is still coming your way. That's going to start at 3 today on Wyman and Bob. Wyman and Bob are joining next, beginning at 3. From 3 to 4, you'll get some Mariners updates, I am sure. And then wall-to-wall draft coverage of the 2026 NFL Draft with Dave Wyman, Brock Heward, Michael Bumpus, and Bob Stelton from 4 to 9. It's all coming your way next on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
It was just over 2 months ago the Seahawks reached the promised land.
Bringing it home again.
But for John Schneider and his team in the front office, the long march to the Super Bowl begins here. The NFL Draft.
We're all about the preparation, the process.
This afternoon, first-round coverage begins with a John Schneider Show at 4 p.m. live from the VMAC. With Brock Heward, Michael Bumpus, Dave Wyman, and Bob Stelton live until 9 p.m. Powered by Home Comfort Alliance. On the home of your Super Bowl champion Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here, and let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. That's when I went to K2 Vision for RLE. That's Refractive Lens Exchange. Now, Dr. Kopstein started K2 Vision with Dr. King from King LASIK, the most experienced LASIK surgeon in the Northwest. King LASIK plus K2 Vision equals freedom vision for every stage of life. No glasses, no contacts, readers, or cataracts. Now, if you're somebody that struggles with distance vision and now you always need a pair of reading glasses, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top. You never develop a cataract. Now, if you're somebody like me that had a pair of readers in every room of the home, in your car, you had to bring them into the restaurant with you. Otherwise, like me, you couldn't read the menu. That has all been rectified thanks to RLE. So whether it's LASIK, EVO, ICL, or RLE, trust the most experienced team of doctors to recommend what's best for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Everyone's been told the same story about real estate investing. Buy property, deal with tenants, manage construction headaches, and yet Legacy Group Capital, they ignore all of that. Jason Rantz here. Here's what Legacy Group Capital actually does. They lend on real estate. They acquire it, they build it, they develop it, and then they share the profits with investors. It's not complicated. There's no gimmicks. The track record, double-digit returns with zero investor losses. You get the upside of real estate without owning a single piece of it. And right now, Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund, it's offering a fixed 9% rate of return. And yeah, IRAs are accepted. While everyone else is chasing overheated trends, you're locking in a fixed return backed by real assets, managed by real experts. More than 1,300 investors have already put over $350 million to work with Legacy Group Capital. These aren't people who got lucky. They got smart. You can get smart. Call 425-635-4700 or go to LegacyG.com. Don't overcomplicate things. Legacy Group Capital.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Hello, Seattle. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Our number one thing with them is always like, hey, welcome someone in and assure them that they're in the right place. We're going to take care of them.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
Deep to right field. Going, goodbye baseball.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. But for a view that's a real home run, check out right field. Make that the dump yard. Sure, it's a great spot to see our fearless outfielders fly, dive, and slide.
Wow! Victor Robles makes the catch!
But you might get to flash some leather too, because the forecast in the dump yard always calls for rain. Raining big dumper home runs, that is.
Number 60, the magical tour of Cal Raleigh just continues.
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Score seats for less than $12 on select dates all season long with Mariners value games, including the upcoming series against the Braves May 4th through 6th. Plus, check out the expanded Mariners value menu and beer lineup, featuring 36 items and available every game. Get your tickets and check out all the value options at mariners.com/value.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day?
Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners with the day off today, traveling to St. Louis to start a series with the St. Louis Cardinals tomorrow. You will catch it all right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, taking a look at the scoreboard for today, a couple of finals in the books. The Braves beat the Nationals in Washington 7-2. It was the Tigers in Detroit taking care of the Brewers 5-4. Phillies losing streak continues. They fall to 8-17 after they fall to the Cubs 8-7 in 10 innings. Dodgers shut out the Giants 3-0. Games going on right now. Padres trailing the Rockies right now 8-5 in the top of the ninth. That one in Colorado. Diamondbacks and White Sox knotted up at 1 apiece. That one in the top of the ninth. Meanwhile, interesting story. FIFA's resale site has 4 tickets on sale for the World Cup final for just under $2.3 million each. That's those seats for the July 19th match at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, are located behind the goal in the lower deck. So, yeah, if you've got a cool $2.3 million, you could buy a ticket for the FIFA World Cup final.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Thursday to everybody. Happy draft day to everybody out there. Round 1 of the NFL draft will be coming your way starting at 5 p.m. today, at which point we will be taking you through each and every pick. We're going to have Brock Heward in here. We'll have Michael Bumpus in here as we're in our little studio downstairs, and already the fans are rolling. The door is open, and people will be complaining about the heat in here in no time. And by people, I mean Dave Wyman.
No, I got my jacket on. I'm fine. I just there's like 10 people that are getting this show off the ground.
Yeah, Brenna's down here working like a dog. We got Trevor and Justin out there.
Big Trev is out there. You know, always
looking sad. Is that what you're going to say? He looks depressed.
He's looking sad. He had a birthday, and he's getting really old now.
Yeah. And Lefko's in here. They brought in a giant TV. They just showed a crowd shot of where are they at? They're in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And it is mobbed already. I don't know how many people are. It looks like there's 100,000 there. I don't know. 75?
Those people there, they don't care that if this is a weak draft or not.
No.
They just are.
We're hours away, and there's already tens of thousands, however many are there, just sitting there, standing.
No, it's a crazy event when you think about really what goes on. It's not really a sporting event. But, you know, and I think there are more people doing their mock drafts than ever. And I have the Beast here for those of you are we on the video? Look at this thing. It weighs about 8 pounds, and it's got, not only does it have like 20 players for each position group, they have best of the rest, much like we have on our show.
They
There's like another 35, 40 guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is...
I went with the PDF version of that, Dave.
I know, but it's hard to scroll through because it's like there's like 600 pages.
Yeah, well, you can... the beauty of the PDF is you can just hit like quarterbacks, or if you want to hit specialists or safeties, it'll take you there. So it takes you right there. But,
you're going to have to show me how to do that, Bum.
Dave, much like his plane tickets, he likes hard copy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And like there is a whole list, is 42 people long, of long snappers.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we'll dedicate a whole segment. We'll get Bump's breakdown of long snappers.
There's a second page. Actually, it's 48. 48 long snappers out there.
Oh, my goodness. Well, there you go. There you go. So we're going to take you through every part of this draft. We'll bring in the analyst. Brock and Bump have been analyzing all of these guys all year, and
they're intimately involved in college football. I mean, both of them, work college football during the football season, as well as doing the Seahawk games. For Bump is like the busiest man ever. So the times you hear him out on the golf course, just leave him alone. Okay, he deserves that. He deserves that time, because during the football season, he's flying down on Saturday, back Sunday morning. So, it'll be good to have those two guys in here.
Meanwhile, the Mariners, as we said, have the day off. They'll be taking on the St. Louis Cardinals starting tomorrow, followed by a series with the Minnesota Twins. So we'll see. Hopefully weather doesn't get in the way of the games, but they got the travel day. So we do have the latest installment of the Cal Raleigh Show coming your way right now. The Cal Raleigh Show, which, of course, is presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
Wyman pitch to Cal, swinging a drive. Way out of here to right field. Cal Raleigh with a home run.
He's the best catcher in baseball, and he's on Seattle Sports Thursday afternoons all season long on Wyman and Bob. It's the Cal Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
With Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
All right, you guys sat down and the sun came out. Thank you.
Sure, nice and warm.
I thought this would be a lot of fun. Catcher conversations, I think, are the absolute best, and I doubt you're going to disagree with me on that. But to have the two of you together, you both have been so complimentary of the other, and over the last couple of years, it's been fun to watch how you guys work together. And it's not a one-person job, I think, as Cal would attest to. It's good to have Mitch. You always mention you have Mitch. What has he meant to you, and how has he helped you on this team?
Yeah, I mean, he's been a lot of help to me, a lot of help to this team, and he's a good leader, good clubhouse guy, good player. Obviously knows what he's doing back there behind the plate, so it makes my job a lot easier. And another guy, you can go to and kind of ask questions and talk about the game and what he's seeing, what I'm seeing if it's lining up, and just kind of talking shop.
And I would imagine vice versa, too, with you, Mitch, looking at Cal and seeing his experience in just different eyes sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been a starting catcher in this league, and I've been a backup catcher in this league. The former is definitely harder. I've done what Cal's done. I've never caught as many games as he has, but the way to be successful is to handle a staff and learn what you can and can't do on certain days. The way he handles our starting pitchers has been great. There's going to be days where they don't have their best stuff, and be able to get them through a game and manage the bullpen and do that 5 or 6 nights a week is impressive, and it's hard. So my job now, as I sit back and become the backup, is to really just give him a day when he needs it, try to pick up where he leaves off, and help get this staff to be the best staff in baseball.
How long did it take you to really learn this staff?
Yeah, that was an adjustment, because my first year with Seattle, I didn't catch right away. I didn't become really do any catching until halfway through. So I would say the second half of that year, I kind of caught on and learned some things. But then really at the beginning of last year, being able to take full reins of the backup position helped me out a lot. Catch these guys once or twice a week, learn their personalities, learn who they are as a pitcher and as a person, and be able to implement that into the game, and then just be complimentary to how Cal calls the game.
How long did it take to learn Cal?
Not too long. Not too long. That was the easy part, yeah? Probably. And not too bad. Pretty simple.
The other way around. I mean, how long did it take to learn how to work with Mitch?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what he said, he didn't start catching until halfway through that first season. So, but, he was always there, and, once a catcher, always a catcher in a way. So, we see the game in a different way, and he was always there for someone to kind of like bounce ideas off of, talk
about what he's seeing, and I think that's important to have, especially being a catcher. You need another person who kind of knows what's going on back there.
What would you say his strength is in breaking down a pitcher or a game or the things that you're talking about?
I think he's really good at just keeping it simple and kind of just he uses his eyes really well. He can kind of see the game and see the swings and kind of tell how hitters are taking a pitch, how they're swinging at a pitch, and it keeps it really simple and can kind of just come up to me and just be honest and just this is what I see, this is kind of where we're at, and keeps it really simple.
Mitch, where has your biggest learning come as a catcher?
As a catcher, probably mostly from failures. Played this game for a long time, and I've screwed up a pretty good amount. It's just there's so many times when you fail throughout a season that you just like those small building blocks help you learn and get better and better throughout the years. It's things that coaches have said to you or experiences you felt, and that feeling of like really blowing a game because you made a bad call or you threw a ball away or you missed a block or you just weren't locked in on a certain count and you let something slip away from you. Things like that, and they happen over time, and it builds you up and you become more and more confident with your skills.
I want to ask you both, if you look out there right now or if you take it a few years back, when you think of catcher, who kind of comes to your mind? If you're looking up to a catcher or across to a catcher, like this is a dude, this guy does it right, and this is a guy that has done it right for a while.
Yeah, for me, a couple names come to mind, like Buster Posey is a good one. Probably all-time, one of the best catchers in the game. I had the opportunity to play with Joe Mauer, not as a catcher, but he still had that mentality about him. He was amazing to watch play, both as a catcher and a first baseman. And then more modern, I loved watching Martin Maldonado catch. He calls a good game, handles the staff really well, and he was trusted by all of his managers. They consistently put him in the lineup because he did a good job with the staff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Buster was really fun growing up to watch. You look at Yadier Molina, a guy who did it for so long, kind of glove first catcher. Obviously the hitting came along, but, just an all-time great. I guess those are guys that kind of grew up watching the young Salvador Perez. And like I said, I've mentioned to you, I grew up Red Sox fan, so Veritek was somebody that I idolized, just being a switch hitter and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, you kind of as a catcher, you follow along and see which catchers in the game you want to be like, and you try to model your game after them. And even in the minor leagues, I remember watching guys in the big leagues like JT Romeo, guys like that, and trying to emulate what he does and trying to see if that's something I could do.
Did you have Mauer questions for Mitch?
I mean, I was kind of a kid growing up watching Joe Mauer, and obviously he was, I'm pretty sure he won MVP, right?
Oh yeah,
he won a couple, two.
We won an MVP.
One or two. I mean, catchers don't do that. Him, Buster Posey. The fact that they're doing that at that position is just ridiculous. So, when you see that from that position, you take notice, and I think everybody does. So.
It was probably before your time, but did they have the skating rinks, Mauer and Morneau and whatnot, in their yard when you were with the Twins?
No, they did not.
Have you seen that?
I haven't.
It's insane. They obviously in Minnesota and the Canadian and Morneau, they skate and they have little pickup hockey games.
I believe it. Yeah.
Okay, that would have been very cool. What has been the biggest? It's when you watch catching, defensively, obviously. It seems like of all the, maybe I guess you'd have to take pitching out, but there have been so many changes quickly, if you think in terms of how old the game of catching is over the last couple of decades and even over the last 10 years. And Mitch, I'm curious, what's the biggest change that you've seen in your time?
It's the one knee down stance. It's the idea that framing has become so important to this game, and to be able to keep strikes and catch the ball the proper way. And you can go back to 2019 when it first started. That was the year where the one knee down stance really took hold of the game. And from that point on, you just don't see catchers catch in that traditional stance anymore. The idea was to work smarter and not harder. But what it did actually was advance the position so far where guys are catching the baseball better than they ever have before. And it goes all the way down to college. It goes all the way down to high school. You're seeing some really advanced catchers being developed throughout college and drafted in professionals that are light years ahead of where I was when I got drafted. You know, this was 13, 14 years ago. Light years ahead of where I'm at, both receiving and being able to throw the ball, and just physically, you know, all their tools are more advanced. So catching has come a long way in a very short amount of time, and the position is just going to get better. The gap between the best and the bottom of the barrel when it comes to receiving numbers is going to just get smaller and smaller, where the skill gap is just minute.
It was pretty amazing. There was a lot of debate about that, and then it just disappeared. Everybody woke up and saw what it was, and it evolved pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Is there anything you've noticed in your time that has been a major change? Not even a major, but just a minor, something that you don't do anymore or catchers don't do anymore?
No, I mean, kind of what he said. Back in 2019 was my first full season in the minor leagues, and that's when I started going one knee down full time. And you know, like I said, it's kind of just the norm now. Everybody does it. So, you know, I think, you know, like Mitch said, the gap has just gotten smaller. You know, everybody's starting to do a better job of it. People are starting to, you know, understand how important, obviously, the receiving aspect is. But, you know, you still know the guys that obviously have really good arms and can control a pitching staff and prevent 90 feet. So, you know, those things are still really important too. They just don't happen as often in the game as, you know, receiving a pitch, because you're doing that every single time.
We had a visitor in the park recently, and they were very complimentary of, it was a former pitcher, and they said, man, if I had them behind the plate. And what really stood out to him was the targeting that you guys do. And that is something that I think is a little bit different than people imagine. That if people are watching on TV, and this is the middle of the strike zone, you guys might have your glove up here to start, and that's for the pitcher. Can you guys explain what you guys are doing with that?
I think, you know, Mitch knows too, like, each guy's different, and based on the day and how the ball's coming out of their hand, you know, some days, you know, guys need different targets and they need different setups, and, you know, you're trying to help get the most out of them. So it's kind of day by day, guy by guy. You're trying to figure out, you know, what they need at that time, and sometimes you got to go a little higher, sometimes you got to go a little lower, in, out. And like I said, the ultimate, you know, goal is to get those guys throwing competitive pitches and get them over the heart of the plate. So.
And some guys want to see where the ball's going to start to break rather than where it's going to end up, it sounds like, on this staff.
Yeah, some guys do.
Yeah. But how long do you feel is the best to hold a target?
You know, I think it's important to give them an idea of where they want the ball to start. And what we're trying to do is realize that each one of these guys is human, right? They're not going to have the same stuff every single day. It's just impossible to do. So each day they come out, how quickly can Cal and I learn, you know, where's the miss? What's the velo look like? What are the shapes looking like? Like, how can we get them in the strike zone early in the count so that they have success so we can get off the field? So whatever that means. Does it mean holding the target longer? Does it mean holding it higher, lower, up here, down there? Whatever it might be, our job is to get off the field as quickly as possible. We want them to throw 15 pitches, and, you know, we're able to get back in the dugout and let our offense do the work. And really, at the end of the day, it's all that matters. It's not really about strikeouts. It's not about velocity or whatever it may be. It's like, how quickly can we get back off the field and save our arms for the next day?
Mound visits. How much is substance? How much of it is take a breath? And how much of it is, I've just got to get this guy off of this track right now?
I think it's both. You know, every situation's different. You know, sometimes you take a mound visit and bases are loaded. Sometimes you may take a mound visit and nobody's on base. So each one's different, and knowing the guy and the situation and kind of what he needs is kind of is what dictates going out to the mound does. So Sometimes Woody goes out there as well, and that's part of his job, and it's our job, try to slow the game down, where are we at in the game, how many pitches is he at, how strong is he looking, is he looking tired, is he, hitting his stride, so there's a lot of factors that go into that.
And for you?
Yeah, I'd say about 90% of the time I'm just going out there to tell them that I have nothing to tell them. I go out there and I say, listen, you look great. You're throwing the ball really well. I'm just going to let you catch your breath here, and I'm going to go back behind the plate. There are times where you have to go out there and you tell them a certain situation, like, hey, if we go inside here, we really want it to get inside, or if we get to 2 strikes, let's bury the breaking ball, whatever it may be. Like, really get it below the zone. And those are just super specifics, but our pitchers do a pretty good job. Most of them have an understanding of what they're trying to do.
There you go. There's ultimately it's part 1 of conversation with Cal and Mitch, and part 2 can be heard next week. So they just went for a long one this time. So we'll hear part 2 of that conversation coming up next week. The Cal Raleigh Show again is presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. Good to see Cal, who we had a chance to catch up with after the game yesterday. If you guys missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. But caught up with Cal after another home run. He's starting to find his groove at the plate, which is, and along with Naylor and along with Julio, all had multiple hits yesterday, which, the win is what you needed ultimately, to state the obvious. But seeing those guys who we've had so much hand-wringing over, when are these guys going to hit? What is going on with the meat of the order here? And they all had multiple hits yesterday, including Arozarena. So that's good to see, and something that we'll see carry over into the road trip coming up, which they've got 1 win on the road so far. So it's got to get better.
Man, it has to. But yeah, I mean, you see Cal starting to hit the ball harder.
Yeah.
And that was the problem with him. And he just, for the first time in, since, I don't know, maybe the year before that, maybe even back to his rookie year, you saw him looking kind of unsure at the plate.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was nice to see that. And, in the meantime, we've been talking about, later in the lineup, was kind of carrying the load a little bit. But yeah, seeing JP, and who's the leadoff yesterday, and Cal and Rodriguez and Naylor and Arozarena all get multiple hits.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. But the extra base hits also have really been kind of a drought.
Yeah, they Julio's been kind of a singles machine. I mean, I don't want to complain too much about it. He's
got like a 19-game on-base streak.
Yeah,
right?
he's getting on. He's finding a way to have a positive impact, get on base, be there to be driven in, be there to potentially steal bases, whatever. Let the guy on deck see a bunch of pitches. He's drawn walks. It's all great, but okay, I want to see some damage. Let's see some of those extra base hits. Let's see the ball leave the yard. That's the next step. But I'll take this now. It's good. He's feeling good, getting used to seeing him on base. But yeah, that's the other part that needs to appear hopefully soon.
Yeah, because we saw how I still can't get over that catch that he made the other day. He looked like a frog almost, the way he just kind of threw his body back on that knuckler that went at him a couple of nights ago.
You know what he was? He was the Matrix.
He was in the Matrix.
He was in the Matrix.
He did kind of look like that.
He kind of did it.
Right.
So maybe
Keanu Reeves is, bending backwards and dodging all those bullets.
Maybe those plays can be made in the NFL, Dave. Maybe it is the Matrix. Maybe it's not an unfair request. We just saw it.
I don't think you can reverse gravity. That's one of the things. Who was the linebacker that was it? Clay Matthews that got that one. That was when I was at the height of my outrage, as far as like he hits the quarterback.
Oh yeah, it was Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and then falls on top of
Packers Vikings.
Yeah,
and gets called for it. It was perfect. It was beautiful. We talked about it as teaching tape. Like that's how you do it.
Right.
He gets called. They end up losing the game ultimately.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's when. Well, no, that conversation actually started long before that when I started saying the Matrix.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that. But getting back to Julio, it's just something that other people can't do.
Yeah,
he's just phenomenal in the field.
Yeah, that was a crazy catch. Look at all the people there already. What are you doing? They're all just standing around drinking beer, just talking. Like, who do you think your team's going to pick?
I hope we pick this guy. Who are you going to pick?
How about jersey sales? If you look at all of, like, it seems like half of that crowd, which looks like it's probably about 70,000 right now, half of them have jerseys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is huge business for the NFL. It's huge business for the cities that it's in. It's in Pittsburgh this year. I'd imagine it's a boon to the local economy there, and hotel rooms and restaurants and parking. And oh my goodness, it's just amazing. I just marvel at how big this thing has become. Literally, the first year I ever did it was in the theater at Madison Square Garden, in the theater, not in the arena, in the theater, which I don't know what capacity is there. But then it moved to Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah,
which is a really cool building, really cool theater, but you're talking about a few thousand people.
Was there like a balcony, like a second level of people up there? Yeah, and the Jets fans up there booing.
Oh yeah, everybody. You'd still see people full uniform there, crazy people, but it just to see it go from those venues to exploding into having hundreds of thousands of people there over a 3-day period is just unreal. Meanwhile, talking more baseball, there was one big reason for optimism after yesterday's Mariners win. We'll get into that next as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
You can stream every pitch of every inning of every game all season long. Oh, and it's completely free.
It's a tremendous catch.
Only on the Seattle Sports app. That's right. The free Seattle Sports app puts every single Mariners game right in the palm of your hand.
On a platter, come and get it.
One app, every game. Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
Holy smokes, what a play!
Pretty awesome, right? Just like the Mariners.
Since time immemorial, the Puyallup tribe of Indians have lived on what is now called Puget Sound. The Puyallup tribe is a sovereign nation of more than 6,000 members and one of the largest employers in Pierce County. Today, the Puyallup tribe continues to serve its members and community with generosity and is committed to building a sustainable way of life for future generations. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Bellevue Rare Coins, and I'm really excited to be working with them again as we're seeing the price of gold at all-time highs. And here's what that means for you. Items you haven't thought about in years can be worth thousands of dollars. Old jewelry, coin collections, gold watches, necklaces, and pendants. And a lot of people don't realize how valuable these items are. And right now, it's worth finding out. Find Bellevue Rare Coins in Bellevue, Linwood, Issaquah, and Tacoma, or go to BellevueRareCoins.com.
Hey homeowners, are you stuck on the credit card treadmill and stressed because your consumer debt and monthly payments are too high? Well, Brock Hewitt here with a smart solution. Your home's equity in the Seattle Metro is probably larger than ever. It's like you're sitting on a stack of cash. Consider a cash-out refinance with Tila Mortgage to consolidate your high-balance credit cards, second mortgages, home equity lines of credit, and student loans, or get cash for a remodel. With interest rates finally coming down, consolidating your debt now may be the best decision you ever make. With excellent client reviews and trusted in Washington for over 25 years, Tila has competitive rates on refinance, purchase, or reverse mortgages too. Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a name you can trust for truthful, honest, and ethical advice for all your mortgage needs. Call Tila Mortgage today, 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 2472046.
2 years ago, my office launched a major media campaign to identify key witness to our client's bicycle accident, which we later settled for $10 million. Because when we accept a case, we don't rest until we do everything possible to improve our client's chance of recovery. We're one of only a few firms in the state with an in-house investigation team building our clients' cases. So when you hire Davis Law Group, you don't just get a dedicated and award-winning legal team. You get our commitment to better service and even better results. Request a free consultation today at 206-888-8888.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through Sunday, May 3rd. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Hello, my friends. It's the Graz here, encouraging you to golf local. Our region is blessed with a ton of golf that isn't very expensive and can accommodate all types of skill levels. Check out the premier courses at Bellevue, Bill Wright, Cedar Crest, Inner Bay, Jackson Park, Lake Patton, Legion Memorial, Linwood, or Walter Hall. You know, wherever you are in Western Washington, you're not far from a premier course. Why not book a tee time online or play Top Tracer at the range at Inner Bay, Bill Wright, and Jackson Park? So what are you waiting for? Play the courses. Play Premier.
Mariners and Cardinals tomorrow in St. Louis. First pitch at 5:15, pregame at 4. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
A multi-billion-dollar settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you were exposed to weed killers at work or at home, your rights are affected. If you or your family has or had non-Hodgkin lymphoma, you could receive $6,000 to $165,000 or more. This settlement impacts you even if you're not sick, because this blood cancer can take 10 to 15 years to appear. If you stay in the settlement, you give up your right to sue. Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 888-403-8201. Paid for by the Roundup Settlement.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice. DayandNight.net. This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net. This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. Text line is there for you guys at 866-979-3776. We'll certainly get into the draft talk as we are here for the draft. We'll be joined at 5 p.m. by Brock Heward and Michael Bumpus. So stay tuned for that. And we got you covered through every moment of the NFL draft. So you needn't go anywhere else. Meanwhile, we did touch on this in the last segment for those who are just tuning in, just talking about, look, the homestand, was it what you wanted? No. I wanted it to be a winning homestand. Take 4 of 6. They split. They took 3 of 6, lost the first 2 to the A's in that series, picked up the final game yesterday, which you desperately needed, in my opinion. And then, more importantly, we saw that middle of the lineup start to hit, including this, seeing Naylor get up there and come away with the game-winning single.
Pitch on the way to Naylor. Swinging a line drive left field for a base hit. Cal Ronnie third being waved in. Down the stretch he comes and throw to the plate. Not in time. Josh Naylor with a walk-off win. And the Mariners win it 5-4 over the Athletics.
It sounded like a big crowd. It really wasn't that big of a crowd.
No, it wasn't.
But they were loud.
They were loud.
Yeah, that was huge. And then Naylor just talked about, after the game, what was going through his mind when he came to the plate.
Try to hit a single and try to hit it where the outfielders have to move to the left or right at least a step or two, which makes it throw it home a little more delayed. But really just got a good pitch to hit. You know, the 2 hitters before me had very professional bats. They got on base some way, somehow. And I think that's the name of the game, just find a way on base and keep moving the line.
I like that. Very professional at bat.
He could get away with that, though, because that's just the way he communicates. He's very direct. You know, I was trying to think who he reminded me of. A little bit Mike McDonald, just because Mike McDonald is very direct. But
yeah, very serious.
Yeah, but very serious about it. And I think if he said, "Oh, well, look at you," and he'd be like, "What are you talking about?" You know, that's what I did. It was a professional at bat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's you see him getting multi-hit games. Over the last, he had 3 hits in one of those games. 2 of those games actually. He went 3 for 5 the other day, and then the first game went 3 for 4. So. Yeah, and then he heated up a little bit in the Texas game. Went 3 for 6, or in that stand anyway. He only played in 2 games, but yeah, he's multi-game hits or multi-hit games also in that regard. So that's good. He's not a guy I worry about that he is going to slump or he's going to have anything psychologically that's going to get to him.
His slump was the most confusing to me, or most perplexing, if you will. Julio was the least. I mean, we're just used to him having a slow start. And he's actually coming out of it. The average is going up. He's getting multiple hits. He's on base every game, so he's not doing the damage as we talked about. But seems like his fix is happening as we speak. Cal, he's got swing and miss. You kind of expected that. I guess what was more surprising for me about him is just he looked uncomfortable. He looked like his timing was off. He was way out in front of the off speed. He was getting beat by the fastball. Yeah. Naylor was the one where I was like, that just doesn't. His approach is just not. I'm not going to say it's slump proof, but it's just one that is more surprising to me because he's not a power hitter. He can obviously hit the ball out of the yard, but that's not how he approaches an at bat. He's not a guy looking to leave the yard. He's a guy who uses the whole field. Yeah, his slump was the confusing one, but it seems like he's definitely working his way out of it. And
his average is up to 194 now. It was at 114, I think.
Yeah.
And the thing was, he was getting robbed early on.
Yeah.
I mean, he was hitting the ball really hard. So, that's always a good sign. It's starting to pay off for him.
Yeah, so seeing those guys, and we've got to throw Rosarena in there. He's part of the group you expect to produce. He had 2 hits yesterday as well, and he's actually been the most consistent of that whole bunch. He's been good. He's had a good start to the season, Randy has. So getting those 3 in addition to him, that's big. And Dan Wilson talks about the impact of having Cal, Julio, and Naylor in together the way they did and the impact it had on the game.
They've found a good groove. I thought their at-bats have been outstanding, particularly there. I was super impressed with 2 outs, Cal getting the one hit up the middle, Julio going in the hole, and then Naylor going the other way to win it. And, that these guys continue to, like we've talked about, they continue to do the work. They continue, to put the effort in. And today was a good day to get some of the reward from that benefit or from that effort.
Yeah, it's huge for this team, and more importantly, you don't want to waste good pitching. I mean, Logan, Logan didn't have his best start certainly, but you got 3 of your starting 5 with ERAs under 3. Yeah. The other 2 are Logan and Castillo. Castillo's over 5, a little over 5. Gilbert is at 4.36. Everybody else: Kirby 2.97, Emerson Hancock 2.83, Brian Wu 2.25. Ooh, your rotation's getting it done for the most part, and at least those 3 certainly. And you've had a good start out of Castillo. His first start of the year was really good. Logan's previous start to this one was really good. So by and large, your rotation is giving you the opportunity to win.
Yeah.
And this offense has been more the problem. Now I know we've had some blowups in the bullpen, but this offense has got to be there to not waste those starts that we've seen throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the concerns really are, you mentioned the bullpen, and then also, just not making errors, not making mistakes, getting picked off, those kind of crazy things that you're not hitting well enough to have those kinds of plays. But, that's always a bad feeling on the wasted pitching when you have a great outing. And, I don't really worry about, like, Logan, the fact that, he took that was such a weird occurrence where, he takes the ball, the comebacker, and it goes into his jersey somehow. You saw him trying to push that thing out where it went in, and it looked like childbirth almost. Like, it didn't just like pop out of there. And I was like, that had to have shaken him up a little bit. Plus, I think he took one in the sternum there maybe, or the ribs.
Yeah, it looked like it grazed that area. Luckily, he was turning. He wasn't just squared up to it.
Yeah. But, I mean, he goes 4 innings, gives up 3 earned runs. I mean, I guess I'm definitely giving him a pass for that one. that's a pretty, you would have a hard time not continuing to think about how freaking strange that was.
Yeah, or hey, that could have hit me in the face. Or that could have,
I'll tell you, that's a real threat. So, yeah, to me, I would just entirely discount that outing.
Well, we'll talk more about that. There is some uncertainty with a key arm in this Mariners rotation we'll get into next as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
After reaching the NFL's mountaintop,
The Seahawks win Super Bowl 60.
the work continues for the Seahawks to keep the foundation strong. It's the 2026 NFL Draft. This afternoon, only Seattle Sports begins its first-round draft coverage with a reigning NFL Executive of the Year.
Who are the real Seahawks?
The John Schneider Show at 4 p.m. with Brock Huard, Michael Bumpus, Dave Wyman, and host Bob Stelton live until 9 p.m.
Powered by Home Comfort Alliance.
on Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. It's funny how you get used to things around the house that aren't in great condition. For some people, it's a messy garage or a leaning fence. And for me, it was old windows. After 20 years, almost 25 now, years in our home, virtually every window had a broken seal. And we got used to the cold drafts, outside noises, condensation, all that. But if you're in that same boat, use this spring to say goodbye to old, dreary windows with broken seals and hello to your new exclusive windows from Harley Exteriors. They have the spring cleaning sale happening right now to complete your home makeover. Buy 10 windows and choose from either 20% off your entire project or get a free door. And on top of that, make 0 payments and accumulate 0 interest for up to 12 months for qualified buyers. Harley Exterior windows are a massive upgrade. They're manufactured right here in the Pacific Northwest. They're exclusive to Harley Exteriors, and also they're great people to work with. I've really enjoyed working with them. So give them a call, 833-HARLEY, that's HARLEY, or go to harleyexteriors.com and schedule your free consultation and get a bid from Harley. That's harleyexteriors.com.
Hello, Seattle. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
As spring picks up, Chef Store helps you keep pace. Stock up on the essentials from fresh meat and seasonal produce to frozen foods, syrups, sauces, and supplies. Open to the public, no membership required. Chef Store. Buying big, made easy.
Opened in 1933, our family is still here, doing the right thing for your family.
Lee Johnson Auto Family, the LJ way.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
It's WFC 190 World Fighting Championship at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, April 25th. Experience the thrill and excitement of high-energy professional mixed martial arts. Tickets at EmeraldQueen.com. Don't miss this amazing mixed martial arts event. WFC 190 World Fighting Championship, April 25th. At Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Mariners and Cardinals tomorrow in St. Louis. First pitch at 5:15, pregame at 4. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Pet owners and parents know the struggle. Every time dogs or kids go outside, they track mud right back in. If you're tired of scrubbing floors, you need Muddy Mat, the anti-mud mat that cleans paws and shoes before they ruin your home. Only Muddy Mat features thousands of ultra-soft microfibers that are 5 times more absorbent than ordinary mats, instantly trapping dirt and water to protect your floors. Put it by every door, under pet bowls, in the kitchen for spills. It even makes a perfect bath mat. And it's 100% machine washable, so cleanup is effortless.
Since getting Muddy Mat, I don't worry about what my dog gets into. His paws are clean the second he steps off.
No more mopping. I love it. Thank you, Muddy Mat. Right now, get a free medium Muddy Mat with your order of 2 or more mats at buymuddymat.com. This offer is only available at buymuddymat.com. That's BUYMUDDYMAT.com. Don't wait. Get your free Muddy Mat today at buymuddymat.com.
A multi-billion-dollar settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you were exposed to weed killers at work or at home, your rights are affected. If you or your family has or had non-Hodgkin lymphoma, you could receive $6,000 to $165,000 or more. This settlement impacts you even if you're not sick, because this blood cancer can take 10 to 15 years to appear. If you stay in the settlement, you give up your right to sue. Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 888-403-8201. Paid for by the Roundup Settlement.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. The text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. Reminder, we've got the latest installment of the John Schneider Show coming up at 4 p.m., so a little less than 15 minutes from now, you'll hear from the president of football operations and general manager of your Seattle Seahawks. Meanwhile, we were touching on Logan Gilbert in the previous segment. Freak moment, obviously, with the ball being hit right back at him, ends up inside of his jersey, somehow scraped his wrist. He was bleeding.
I wonder if that was something where when he went to kind of pull his hand back, he kind of flinched and that he scraped.
He said he didn't
himself.
know. Yeah, because somebody in the post-game press conference said, "Hey, you were bleeding," and then he held up his wrist and he had a bandage wrapped, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't really know how, but that's where it was coming from."
Yeah. Obviously, he wasn't bleeding profusely. Or
Yeah. They didn't need to do a transfusion or anything. He's fine, but he's. Just in totality this year, he's not looked great. He's not been awful, but he's not been your ace. He's kind of looked like he did last year, which is a little uneven. And yesterday, 4 innings, 3 runs, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. Only pitched at least 6 innings in 2 of his 6 starts. He's a guy that led the league in innings pitched season before last, and since then he just he had the injury last year certainly, and that threw him off a bit. But he's kind of looked more like last year than the year before that. And Jeff passing on with Brock and Salk, talking about that, compares this version of Gilbert so far to the 2024 version of him.
And I want to compare him to 2024 because I think that was probably the best version of Logan Gilbert. Is that okay?
It was, yep.
The big difference there is in the batted ball profile. Logan Gilbert was getting ground balls on 45% of balls in play back in 2024. This year, it's 33%. When you have fly balls in the air, there tends to be more damage. There's a reason that players, elevate and celebrate. And I understand that has not manifested itself in home runs with Logan Gilbert necessarily, but there's not quite the same sharpness on the pitches. But That being said, Brock, he still commands them quite well.
Yeah, I'm just not worried about Logan. But I do think it's unfair to hold him to the 2024 standard, because that was pretty phenomenal. I just think he's like some of the hitters. They just kind of taking them a while to get going, and I don't worry about Logan. Do you? I mean, do you think, oh man, this could be?
I worry a little bit. Yeah, I do, because he was injured last year, and I don't know. Look, he's not going to say it if he's not 100%, and maybe he is, but maybe it's a mental thing. Maybe it's him compensating, like, this is what was going on when I got hurt before. I was doing this, so I'm going to stay away from that. I mean, who knows what's going on? He just there's something different about him. And I was talking to some other people there yesterday who were kind of echoing the same thing. It just he just looks, it's to me much more reminiscent of last year's version of him. But like you, Jeff Passan outlines why he's still confident that Gilbert will be the best version of himself this year.
I am willing to bet that over the rest of this season, that Logan Gilbert is more like the pitcher who you saw in 2024 than he has been over the first, half dozen starts of this season. I think that is in him. I think you're going to see that from him, and I think it's just a matter of time.
I hope he's right. I hope you're right. I'm not saying he won't get there, but you're asking me, do I have any concern? Yeah, I got a little bit. I wouldn't. I'm not saying no worries. He'll be that guy. I like that assurance. I want him to be much more right about this. So I want him to be the 2024 version. I don't know if that's a fair standard to put out there, but he is a guy who was at one point looked at as your ace. He's your opening day starter the past 2 years. So that comes with expectation. He's always the guy when we talk about the four young guys outside of Luis, and like, well, what do you do when you're going to lock up two of them? Which two is it going to be? Presumably, if they go two, and seems like it's always Logan and somebody, right? It's either Logan and Wu or it's Logan and Kirby. It just seems like it's him. He's the automatic, and at this point, I don't know. Is he? Maybe it's Wu and Kirby.
Yeah.
Maybe and this could change as the season goes on. Maybe one of those guys hits a rut, and we're going, well, it's Bryce Miller and it's Logan or something. I mean, we'll see how things go when Bryce comes back and all of that. But yeah, I'm dialed in on him. I'm just watching him like, okay, I want to see him look like that guy that had that command, that had, he didn't have and he talked about it yesterday. He just didn't have command of his fastball, the 2-seam or the 4-seam yesterday. So, splitters were mixed in there, certainly with his other repertoire, but just it feels like he's like the hitters trying to find it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his last year, and he started off awesome the opening day.
Yeah, he went 7, right? Didn't he?
Went 7 innings and 1 earned run, didn't walk anybody, had 8 strikeouts, but then, you look at that 5 starts later, he goes into Miami, and he was pitching a great game. Remember that game that he got hurt? I just looked at the numbers.
He was dealing in that game.
Yeah, he only went 3 innings because he got injured, but he had 3 strikeouts, didn't give up any hits, and he was just rolling. And then, he came back, and, his first few starts are kind of like what we're seeing right now. 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 4 earned runs. So,
yeah,
I mean, I guess it's always a concern. I think a lot of the credit, because we talked to who's the guy at
at the Armory?
Armory, yeah, Lefko. Oh, Lefko, I'm challenging.
Yeah,
you
stumped me here.
Whoa,
Randy something.
Yeah, Randy Sullivan.
There we go.
I'm in football mode.
That's right. No, it's always surprising to me when Lefko doesn't come up with a name.
I know. He's like a human computer
he's
generally.
The computer brain. But
the drugs are starting to take effect on him.
No, but I mean, I just think all the work that he puts in and everything, it's not, I don't think it ever will be something that's psychological. He's a really balanced guy in that way. So, yeah, just give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah, if anything, maybe he's a guy who's over-analytical. I mean, he's a guy who analyzes everything and always looking for different avenues to get better. And, maybe he's a guy who's, paralysis by overanalysis, to use the old saying.
Well, he did have a smaller bag this year. We found that out during spring training. So.
But we also found out that's only because the team bought some of the things he used to carry around for himself. So the team invested in some of those products. And right. So he doesn't have to carry them around because they're already there.
Yeah.
So I think initially we thought, okay, he's eliminated some. Well, no, I guess the team went ahead and purchased some, so he doesn't have to have them individually, I guess.
Yeah.
Look, we've seen what he's capable of. He's capable of being a one. He's capable of being that guy to lead your rotation. Just need to see him find it, and the next start's going to tell us a lot. So looking forward to that. Meanwhile, it's the final chance to hear from John Schneider before the draft begins tonight. You're going to hear that conversation coming your way next as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
It was just over 2 months ago the Seahawks reached the promised land.
Bringing it home again.
But for John Schneider and his team in the front office, the long march to the Super Bowl begins here. The NFL Draft.
We're all about the preparation, the process.
This afternoon, first-round coverage begins with a John Schneider Show at 4 p.m. live from the VMAC. With Brock Heward, Michael Bumpus, Dave Wyman, and Bob Stelton live until 9 p.m. Powered by Home Comfort Alliance. On the home of your Super Bowl champion Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
I don't hear anything. Hey, it's Dave Wyman here for Swedish Cyberknife. One of the best parts of radio is getting to interview a ton of interesting people who are at the top, very top of their profession. For example, Dr. Robert Meyer, a multiple-time recipient of the Seattle Top Doctor Award. We spoke to him about prostate cancer and effective ways to treat a diagnosis. And Dr. Meyer, he said many patients prefer Swedish Cyberknife because all it takes is 4 or 5 short treatments, each lasting about 45 minutes. And Swedish Cyberknife can treat prostate cancer in only 1 week with minimal interruption to a patient's life and work, and the side effects are minimal compared to other treatments. No surgery, non-invasive, and far less impact on your daily function. And Swedish has been offering the CyberKnife treatment in Seattle for over 10 years and treated over 1,000 prostate cancer patients, some of them listening right now. If diagnosed with prostate cancer, learn more about CyberKnife for prostate cancer treatment at swedish.org/CyberKnifeProstate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife, and CyberKnife is a registered trademark of Accuray Incorporated and is used with permission.
511 is now part of Seattle in the South Center Mall. It's more than a brand, it's a lifestyle built on reliability and performance. Whether you're on duty, on the trail, working out, or out for adventure, 511 delivers purpose-built clothing, bags, and footwear that stand up to the toughest demands. 511 gear is trusted by those who never settle for less. Choose 511 and live ready for anything. Are you ready to discover your 511? 511, now part of Seattle in the South Center Mall.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest. Muckleshoot.
Hey, Brock Heward here for my friends at People Come First, or PCF Construction Group. And if you've been dreaming of that new deck, you got to get a hold of PCF. Call them before the great weather arrives and their schedule gets totally filled up. With a new deck, patio cover, heater, and fireplace from PCF, you can enjoy the outdoors year-round no matter what the weather brings. And for a limited time, how about this? Get 50% off demolition costs up to $5,000 when you book your project with PCF. Contact People Come First Construction Group for all the details. They designed and built our outdoor living space, and we love it. Start planning and designing your dream deck now so you're ready to build this summer. Planning, permitting, and construction can take a little time, so get started today. Get project ideas, browse their amazing photos, and look at all the offer details at pcfgroup.com.
Making your outdoor space your favorite place. When people come first.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Great moments in draft history. Presented by Silver City Brewery.
A hometown kid who starred at Washington State University. Marcus Trufant was selected in the first round of the 2003 draft. He played 10 seasons in Seattle and had fans chanting "True" after every one of his big plays.
Who will Seattle select this year to build momentum for 2026? Listen to The John Schneider Show. Thursdays at 4 p.m. on Seattle Sports. Presented by Silver City Brewery.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners get the day off today. They will start their series on the road with the St. Louis Cardinals tomorrow, a game you'll catch right here. Seattle Sports on 710. And then that'll be followed by a set with the Minnesota Twins. So a little 6-game road trip starting tomorrow. Meanwhile, games going on today. But these are finals. Braves took out the Nationals 7-2. The Brewers fall to the Tigers in Detroit 5-4. Phillies losing streak continues. In 10 innings, they fall to the Cubs today 8-7. Padres took out the Rockies 10-8. It was the White Sox over the Diamondbacks 4-1, and the Dodgers shut out the Giants 3-0. Just one game going on right now. Red Sox up 1-0 on the Yankees in Boston. That one in the top of the fourth. Still to come, the Mets will host the Twins in New York, and the Rangers host the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This is the John Schneider Show.
Good to see you guys.
Presented by Silver City Brewery.
I truly believe, defense wins championships.
On the home of your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
It's the John Schneider Show, only on Seattle Sports.
We are live at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. Big day. It is day one of the NFL draft, and a pleasure to have this man back in once again for his show. By God, it's the John Schneider Show, and here is John
Silver
Schneider.
City.
Silver City Brewing Company bringing it to us.
I got to get one of those hats. They brought some beer, but...
You didn't get a hat?
Got to get a hat, yeah.
All right. Well,
I'll get you one. I think we can hook you up.
Yeah, thank you.
You're John
Did you try
Schneider.
a beer? Did you give it a whirl?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
You think you'll have another sometime?
Yeah, I think maybe just, the Pilsner's actually really good.
You like
very good, yeah.
John, is the case. You've been bringing in guests with you every week.
Yeah.
You got another guest. Introduce him to the audience.
Yeah, it's my nephew, Willie Schneider. He's our director of pro personnel and budding superstar. And, so we're glad he hasn't left us and is still here. And, yeah, he's just, like I said, like the whole group of people that have come through, I think this is the best pro personnel director in the country and are in the league. And
you got kind of a Schneider tree thing going on right now, right? Some of the guys that have worked
salary cap,
with you. that have gone other places.
Yeah, and my son's going to be going down to work for the Miami Dolphins here after he graduates. So
Really?
pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, tell everybody what your job entails. They know that.
Yeah, Willie, tell them.
Tell us what you do.
Right. So primarily pro scouting, but also everything that has to do with player acquisition, making sure, someone goes down the roster, hey, who's next? So supplementation of the roster, and that's totally like year round. So talk about, right, like preseason 90-man rosters, right? There's only be 53 guys to make the team. So we have all these guys that hit the street. So we got to make sure we're up on those guys. So then our team, after that, you go through that, and you have advanced scouting throughout the year. So we're helping the coaches out, kind of give them the outline or, baseline of, hey, what's this team doing? Who's playing well? Who can we attack? What's going on that way? And then goes right into the trade deadline, right? So then we're, as you're constantly evaluating other teams' rosters, trade, who can we trade for? Who do we like? We got this big thing called the game plan too, where we keep all that, in a flowing, it's always being updated, whether it's trades, who's on the street, who's our next guy up.
So you're keeping an eye on everybody else's. When they cut down to 53, you could go to John and go, hey, the Cardinals just got rid of so-and-so here.
Right, yeah, and hopefully we're doing our job where it's not like right at that time, right? So like he knows, hey, who's projected to be cut, so we do projections and all that kind of stuff. And that works
of every other roster?
Every other roster, yeah. So we have guys, our team, how we split up, you're in charge of, maybe 5 to 6 teams at the cut down date. So you're watching them throughout the preseason. And then you stay with those teams, too, throughout the year. So you really get to be kind of like, John will say, hey, be the GM of that team and try to predict, hey, what's going on? What do they need? Who are they going to cut? And then it comes full circle like this time, too, where we have this, big, team needs meeting, which we had yesterday.
Yeah, it's my favorite meeting of the year. He does a great job with it. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so we go through team by team. We talk about, hey, what are their team needs? Who do we see them drafting? And it kind of gives John a lay of the land for as we proceed tonight and throughout the weekend of who's ahead of us, who's behind us, who could be coming up for so and so, who needs the same thing that we do. So yeah, just kind of always trying to create a big picture, what's out there, who's up next, what other teams looking at, trying to get in the minds and think like the other teams.
Yeah, when you guys here, we talk about landscape. Like we always kind of like the point guard for that. So NFL landscape, and then our meeting yesterday, what they're doing is what they're presenting to us, like every team, their needs and everything. So you can literally, like, our draft board is right in front of us. We can look to the left. We can see who's coming, like who's picking, like who's coming down the road, like 10 picks away or 5 picks away, and be able to look at that team and say, hey, they're going to be, these are their top, 5, 6 needs. And then especially in this first round, I'd say the first 2 rounds, really, it's like, all right, well, if we move behind this team, that we might be losing out on that player or that player. So it's just a really cool, the whole room ends up looking like a big map.
Hey, John, the other day you said something about that it used to be kind of frowned on trading within the division, and that you've kind of changed your thinking about that over the years. Kind of take us through that and how that and why that has become more likable that you do that.
It was always a thought that you're helping your arch rivals and that sort of thing. And really, I think these guys, like these newer GM guys, are really just like way more pliable in terms of like wanting to do deals and move around and be like hey, we're doing what's right for us and you're doing what's right for you, so that's fine. We're just trying to move around the board and figure out like what's best for the Seattle Seahawks or the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Niners, So, I mean, it's not like we want to help these guys, but, we want to be able to help our team first and foremost. Secondary is kind of like, maybe we did, we moved back with them and they ended up getting a good player or whatever. We moved up with the team, so.
Hey, I'm curious, are other teams doing what you're doing? I mean, is that common is there somebody who's scouting the Seahawks all year, right? So there's somebody who's keeping an eye. The Seahawks are probably going to cut this guy. They're going to do that. And you talk about watching that draft board based on that knowledge. But what if teams are like you and they don't draft for need? Seriously.
Well, no, it's cool because the meeting yesterday is basically like, these are their needs, right? But then they say like, all right, but I could see this guy's coming up. He's got a contract coming up. This plays 2 years. Next year, I could see them taking because they've been in all of our meetings. We have all of our draft meetings. Like we're all together all the time. Right. So they've studied like they write reports on college guys too. They're not just focused on pro scouting. It's their primary focus, but they're also a big part of our college draft process. So when we're working on these different like you said, drafting for need. Well, they've already said, okay, yeah, these are what the needs look like, but I know that, like, hey, here comes Dave Pearson, and he's he's a 340-pound
slow guy.
Yeah, nose tackle. They still might really like him, and I could see them taking him because their nose tackle's up next year. That sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're picking on him instead of me.
Yeah. Hey, show's not over yet, pal.
There's still time.
Oh man. Right. It's funny. My brother's in town right now. Willie's dad, and it's funny when I was in college. Like I had to babysit Willie one day, and I always remember this. Like we had this like second floor. We had a kegerator up there and like a cool bar and dartboard and stuff, and Willie's mom had dropped him off and with my college roommate, so we had him for 4 hours, and my brother comes walking in, and we're all sitting at the bar playing darts and stuff, and he's crawling around a gross college like no wonder this kid ended up being so tough, so but he had a really cool start, and Willie did, and he was working with Tom Cable right when he started, and so he was scouting and drawing, and so he has this really cool coaching background that I never had. So he can speak this really cool coaching language when he interacts with all the coaches. That is really, really, really neat.
Hey, Willie,
I said neat.
Yeah,
that's really neat.
Super neat.
Neat.
That's super duper.
Yeah. Don't hear that very often.
No, you don't. I take it back.
Willie, how many times do you, in the pro personnel side of it, you're like, oh man, I really wanted to draft that guy, and you have a profile of him, and does that come up a lot that you're like, and does that kind of sway your opinion a little bit? Like, I liked him coming out of college.
Yes, I'd say yes and no. I mean, it is really important, like John was saying, first to be in all those meetings to see all the college guys. One, for helping project, the other teams, who are they going to get, and and why? Because like you were saying, there's sometimes, hey, they might not need this guy, but the way they draft, right? Like maybe not based on total positional need, but hey, this guy's just really good. This is a really good guard, whatever. They have good guards, but you can't pass this guy up.
Yeah.
So you do really need to know those guys. At a certain point, once you've played in the league for a while, you're trying to you want to base it off as much as you can what you've seen lately. But it does always help to have that baseline, right, of who is this guy coming out? Did we like him then? What's changed? And it's part of the analytics too, right? You can look at what he was like in college. Did that project well to the NFL like we thought it would?
Right.
So yeah, you're always comparing that stuff too from when they came out.
Hey, John, coming into this draft, you spoke with the media the other day, and I felt like you said something you hadn't done in the past, where you kind of came out and just said, well, we only got 4 picks, so we're going to be looking to trade back. And Dave and I were sitting there going, wait, is that a smoke signal? Is he trying to misdirect? That was an awfully...
It was just basically like, instead of calling every single guy, you might as well just get it out there, I guess. No, I'm kidding. We've talked to every team, but no, it's just basically like, hey, look, like, don't be surprised if we go back. If you can't go back, you can't go back. It's not like it's a given, but if you have to figure out strategically, and this is what we were working on yesterday afternoon, but at what point you just call off the jam too. Like, how far do you go back, if you can? Like, if you have a team we're picking 32, right? So if you have a team at 30, I'm not getting the specifics right now. Okay? Right. We're just talking hypotheticals. Thank you. But is it 35? Is your cutoff 40? Is it 45? And what's coming back in return? Is that worth the risk of losing? Call it like 5 or 6 players in there that we may have on our board. So,
but in 21, you guys only had 3 picks, and you didn't do anything. You didn't trade back. You just went with 3 picks.
Yeah, because we literally did. We weren't able to work things out. Like, it just didn't happen. Like,
so there was an attempt to accumulate more picks, but it just didn't.
Yeah, and like we got to Eskridge, it was like we're taking, Eskridge was first,
Trey Brown,
and then Trey, Trey made it that far. I was like, all right, so, but we did have things going on, but like nothing really came to fruition. Eskridge we wanted to pick for sure. Trey was kind of like his spot. I think we might have been able to go back there.
Then Forsythe.
And then Forsythe was like we couldn't go anywhere.
Hey, are there little details?
Thanks for that, because that picture is up there on our wall of fun. It's like a
hallway of truth.
Yeah, the hallway of truth. Thank you. You walk through that thing, with a cup of coffee in the morning, like,
that works out.
Boy, that draft. 3 picks.
Do you ever, there's little details. Like I was this D'Angelo Pons kid. So I was looking at him, and there was just a play where the receiver is like grabbing his face mask and grabbing his sleeve, and it was like he didn't care. He just was like, I'm going to get to the ball. I'm just totally ignoring that. Those little things like that. Do you have any of those little sort of tendencies to see, like, look at this guy, this tells me something, all these little tiny movements and things like that on the field that might
it's a really good question. Yeah, I mean, if you look at I just sat down with Spoon upstairs, had a little lunch with him, and so that came to mind when you're talking about Pons, just like that style of play.
Exactly. That's what I compared him to.
Okay, he's a shorter guy, but that had a similar play style, and but like Spoon, like the way he interacted with his teammates after every single play, and that's held up. It's consistent. The way he loves football and just like loves, I mean, he can't get enough football. But you're right. That style of play stands out definitely. Now, on the flip side of that, too, you see guys like, quarterback gets sacked and they just kind of like, the offensive lineman, they just turn around kind of like, whatever, dude. Like, guy, you can get up on your own. You know what I mean? Like that stuff, that stands out, too. Or just guys that like, like running to the ball. You want your teammates running to the ball, and Mike's always called it 12 is 1, and everybody just like feeling the whole, all the defense running to the ball. That's the stuff that stands out away from like the critical traits is basically what you're saying, I think.
Well, one of my things that is like a kind of a little tendency or whatever is that I hate it when the ball snaps and a guy like adjusts his face mask while he's playing.
Yeah,
you're playing. Why are you doing that? But you have little things like that knock it down.
Oh yeah. We had an offensive lineman, make a block and then running downfield a couple years ago and then pull out the old
the bow and arrow.
Bow and arrow. Yeah. And we almost took him off the board right there.
Hey, looking at...
We decided he was talented enough, but...
Yeah.
Not quite
as far as this draft goes, all the national voices are saying, it's not a good draft. It's not a deep draft. You've talked about, every
there's
year
levels,
we feel like there's 10 legit first rounders or 15 or whatever. I don't know what you can or can't say, but this year, do you feel like they're accurate? Like, there are not as many first rounders in your eyes as there have been in previous years, or do you feel like it's still a good group despite what the national voices are saying?
I would just agree with that and not give you a number.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But
agree with what? That
what you just said. It's the number, the range in there for first rounders.
Right.
Not as strong as in the past.
Okay.
And not quite as much depth as there has been in the past all the way through the draft. Our challenge, our responsibility for the organization is to make sure we find fits all the way through the draft, whether or not we have 4 picks or end up with, 6 picks.
Yeah.
We're trying to get the best players for the coaches, the best fit, where everybody has buy-in and agreement, and the guys want to coach them, and they're excited about them being here, and the players are excited about being here and fitting into our culture. And they come into an atmosphere that's going to be really competitive, but they're not like in awe of the guys that just won a world championship.
Is there a certain position group that you think is particularly good in this? I don't know if you can tell me that or
not.
Yes.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
No, I can't tell you, but yes, there is.
Yeah. There definitely
is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where the John Schneider show gets a little stale, right? With the draft stuff, it's like, can you tell us? No. And like, we're here a couple hours here.
That's why we bring Willie in. Yeah.
No, we've done some deflecting. It's been great.
You're very adept at that.
Yeah, he is. It has been a great day, though. Hit the AutoZone this morning. Got some.
You got any little rituals on? I think we asked that.
Mass. I'm gonna go. We hit Mass, and then we went and, like I said, we hit AutoZone. Got some jumper cables. Got my car started. My battery was low on my other car. Not the truck that you ride on all the time, like a 12-year-old, but.
The vandalized truck.
Yeah, he writes us on the side of my car.
Well, it's dirty usually, so. But I didn't want to do it today.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Game day is
You should see some of the stuff he writes on it too.
I have to say, I kind of egged him on last time.
Did you really?
I kind of did.
Nice.
I said,
I get you the tattoo guy.
No way,
like,
King Mosabi.
Yeah, all the way down the side of the truck.
So good.
He's a chatty one, isn't he? Yeah. Willie? Yeah, he's a chatty fella. Yeah.
I'll
take it over. Yeah, give me the chance.
Hey, so Willie, you, I know John is like this because I was one time, back when we first met, I was like, hey, what about, being a scout or whatever? And you were like, well, first you got to do this intern and you got to do that. I mean, you're very, sort of, you want everybody to kind of
experience everything, work your way up the ladder.
Exactly.
Yep.
Just like you did, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So tell your story.
I mean, that's all internal development, right? Though I think any organization, whether it's sports or whatnot, I think you want to try to develop your own, just like our players, right? You want to draft and develop. That's what you say all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So like, right, asking someone to do something that you've done before. I think that's what it comes down to, is like your, John's like servant leadership type of thing too. Like, hey, I did this too, and stuff's different now because with the technology and whatnot, like things get done quicker. Guys aren't, some of the boards and stuff that we do and stuff within the scouting system, making lists, even cutting up film. I mean, back in the day,
totally.
you were like literally cutting the film up.
Yes.
Right now we just, hit a few buttons and boom, you got everything you need. So everything's more efficient, for sure. But yeah, you want to grow guys within your organization. And like you've seen John do over the years, like he doesn't bring in guys from the outside very often. It's usually, promote from within. Right. I think that's what builds the culture and, makes everyone feel like, one, they're important. They work hard. It's going to be seen, and you do it the right way. And that's what you have from the leadership top down.
Yeah, and we're connected. We kind of know what each other's thinking too, and like, hey, somebody can cover for somebody else. And I like the technology part. I'll be like, Willie, Ronnie, I'm stuck. You guys got to come help me. I think I told you, Mike. Like, ends up like if I'm watching film with Mike, I'll be like, hey, check this out. We'll be like sitting there. I'll have the clicker like watching film, and he's looking at me like the computer guy on Saturday Night Live, like, move.
Let me do it.
Yeah, he's like, he gets in there, he's like,
just getting frustrated.
Boom, boom, boom. I'm like, okay. Like.
John's going, I hit on, off, it's not working.
Yeah. Starting to feel like the 70-year-old guy now.
Yeah. You're the old guy in the room.
Not that that's 70's old, it's just older.
Yeah, older. Hey, is the feeling going into this draft different for you? Is it like maybe the anticipation, because you're picking, technically you're the last pick. We'll see what happens with it.
Yeah.
The draft may not be as deep as it's been in years past. So it feels like just from the fan base, and the biggest part is it doesn't feel like there are pressing needs for this team. In years past, we've been, we need a guard, we need a this. This year, it's like, this team's pretty complete. And
we always feel like there's, sorry to interrupt, we always feel like there's pressing needs though. So it's like working through your levels of anxiety of.
So you have the same level of excitement and anticipation for this as you do in the other year?
Absolutely. And how are we going to be the best team as we get to what this draft looks like when we get into the spring, rookie free agency, going around the corner of the spring, see who becomes available in the summer, at 53, how are we building our team there, practice squad wise, and Willie and his staff do a great job of having our ready list. We're bringing a bunch of guys, have them worked out, come in for physicals, work them out, meet the coaches and stuff. So they're kind of sitting in that like 120 player group. Maybe they were part of our 90, maybe they weren't, but having those guys ready so that we can have the best, most healthiest, competitive team we possibly can down the stretch, December, January, February.
What about the involvement of the coaches on draft day? Like how heavily, because I got to imagine Brian Fleury sitting there going, yeah, this guy, looks good in this scheme, the scheme that I run. How often are you consulting, and how much are you consulting? The
draft weekend, these guys do a great job of interacting all throughout the weekend. We've already had those meetings where we know where the coaches, where they sit, how they feel about people.
And it's just a checklist of this is what I'm looking for. This trait, that trait. Is that how that goes?
Mm-hmm. And last weekend they came in, last Friday, Saturday. They just come in and present their position group, how they feel about it. Go through each player on our team, and then we'll start going through the different positions and evaluating as we go. And then the board ends up looking like a lot of whack, because you're like, okay, up or down. We kind of tilt the tags and stuff, and So we get through those meetings, and then we'll get back together as a group and then discuss, like, okay, with the scouts, okay, where were we off? Where were we together? Where do we have alignment? Where don't we? And then we'll sit there and, like, just kind of, like, that was Monday, basically sit there and go through it and adjust it again. If we have big differences with the coaches, like, which we, every year you're going to have some of those, we'll bring those guys back in, kind of start with a clean slate. Like, okay, what did you guys see? Can you bring us through what you saw? This is where we're coming from. And then try to narrow that gap.
So does this draft this year feel like, I know we talked maybe last week about, I think it was the GM from the Chiefs made comments, it's going to be active. I think it's going to be a lot of trades. I don't know if he's right or not, if that's based on it. Do you get a sense this is going to be a really
so far, I've been on the phone a bunch today. So far, it feels like, there's a couple teams in the top 10 that are, trying to move back. And then I can't really tell yet with the middle. So, I think once everybody's really – because those guys in the top, like, 5 to 8 kind of really set a table.
Right.
And then, okay, well, that player, this guy jumped here, that guy jumped there. Okay, well, that's not going the way it was supposed to go. And then that just kind of
– the domino effect.
Yeah. I was actually going to say that. Thanks, man.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you.
I mean, we've had so many of these shows now. We're just getting to know each other. Yeah. We can finish each other's sentences.
Hey, so
is he yelling at you right now?
He's trying to give me a time signal.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's telling me to wrap it up. Do we have time for one more? Dave's got another question.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Willie about, like, was this something that you always wanted to do? I mean, you probably played football in high school. Did you play in college?
Yeah, I played in college.
Yeah.
Now I had the benefit, right, of knowing what it was, right? When you have someone that's in the business, so at some point in your life, like, hey, that's something that's a possibility someday. So my first memory is, like, going to Lambeau Field and seeing their offices, and they had, like, these little G's on the carpet floor, like, everywhere. Like, that's the first thing I can remember of, seeing that. But then, like, when I'm in high school, he's at our house, writing scouting reports for, I don't know if he's visiting Minnesota or something like that. Going to joint practices in River Falls with, KC and the Vikings, I think, were playing. John was their scout and those guys back in the day when you used to be able to do that. So just, like, knowing, like, that's a possibility. But, my thought was always, hey, I'm going to keep, playing the game until I can't play anymore. So, I was a fullback, more of the old school type, so not dynamic, not a good receiver, anything like that. More
do you have a neck roll?
Similar sholler pass to our guy
roll.
over here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to smash you in the face, right? Not a lot of those guys.
When men were men.
Yeah, no, this is tough hombre over here.
Yeah, he's old school. Is the goal to be ultimately a GM? Or
absolutely.
That's what you want to do?
Yeah, and, John does a great job here of allowing everyone to do a lot of things, so you get a lot of good experience, which I think is a lot different from other places where, you're able to communicate with, other teams a lot too and get the whole experience with the agents as well.
That was a big thing for Willie, really kind of like the relationships with agents. It's not like the most comfortable thing to do. You're kind of like, all right, you got to, like, you're on the phone listening to people talk about how amazing their
clients.
It's like you listen to people talk about their kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, it's great.
They're all different.
But it definitely is a good point you brought up, Willie, about the agents too, because it's like, okay, yeah, like, go out there, get as much information as you can, let everybody know that, like, we're going to hear you, listen to you, and then if it's a toss up, they're going to choose the Seahawks because of Willie's relationship with them.
Sometimes you yell at agents, right?
That has happened.
He's been taken to task by a family member for that.
Yes.
That's great. John, it's been fun as always, man. We wish you nothing but the best tonight,
Appreciate
of course, and hopefully we
have fun. What are you guys doing? Are you doing like a live?
Oh yeah, we'll be right here.
Oh, cool.
Till 9 o'clock.
So if you want to come down,
kind of keep it snappy.
Yeah, maybe we'll come down and say hi.
We'd like to come. We'd like to go home at a decent hour.
We're supposed to pick about 7:56.
That's when you're supposed to pick, 7:56.
I guess
it's 8 minutes between picks this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they chopped it down a little bit, which I think is good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Because it's kind of an infomercial anyway.
Yeah, it is. But we look forward to recapping.
Thanks, Willie.
Hopefully soon, man.
Yeah, no, it'll be great.
There you go, the latest installment of the John Schneider Show, which is presented by Silver City Brewery. If you guys missed any part of that, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab, click on our picture. It'll be right there waiting for you. And don't forget, click subscribe. It's totally free. That way it just shows up for you, and you don't have to worry about remembering. Meanwhile, we're going to dive into 2 potential names for the Seahawks when it comes to filling out some holes on this roster. That is coming your way next as we continue live from the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. It's Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle's best NFL draft coverage is only getting started. Tomorrow, with the Mariners and Cardinals on the airwaves with pregame starting at 4.
Holy smokes!
Be one of the cool kids and pull up Seattle sports draft coverage on YouTube on one screen and stream the Mariners live on the second screen.
Holy catfish!
Or go double browser tab. It's your world, Kimosabi. We're just making sure it's loaded with content. Only from the home of the Seahawks and the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
It's the John Schneider Show, presented by Silver City Brewery. Coming off a championship season, how will the team reload with eyes on next season? Listen each week as we take you exclusively into team headquarters for insight on the combine, free agency, and the draft. The 2026 team is being built as we speak. Hear about the important moves being made right now to determine who will be making plays during the fall. Only on Seattle Sports and only during the John Schneider Show, presented by Silver City Brewery.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Are you an HVAC professional in Western Washington? UA Local 32 offers industry-leading pay, advanced training at a state-of-the-art facility, and retirement benefits you can count on. For 135 years, they've had your back. Start building your future at UALocal32.com.
Bull riding is not just a sport. It's a gamble of guts and glory. Nothing else compares. It's Cooper Tire's PBR Tacoma at Tacoma Dome this weekend. Ready to be cowboy? Get your tickets at Ticketmaster. It's bull time.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text TIP to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text TIP to 215-215. That's TIP to 215-215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hello, Seattle. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America and a member of FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
The Puyallup RV Show returns April 30th through May 3rd. Take advantage of show-only prices. Now through April 29th, buy a ticket online, get another free. PuyalluPRVShow.com.
And we're back. The big headline today. Your Washington Credit Union, WSECU, has done it again.
5 straight years as Forbes' best in-state credit union. That's a dynasty, Rick, like 5 straight championship rings.
Or 5 seasons hitting 400, Steve.
Holy catfish! If you want a team that wins year after year, join your Washington Credit Union, WSECU. Details at WSECU.org.
It's WFC 190 World Fighting Championship at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, April 25th. Experience the thrill and excitement of high-energy professional mixed martial arts. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this amazing mixed martial arts event. WFC 190 World Fighting Championship, April 25th. At Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
21 and older. Need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
For those diagnosed with anxiety,